We can start with the maps. Actually, I can just fast forward. So, Immersion, Aftermath, makes sense. Ban Outcrop, Ban Shoals, Runestones, not surprised the slightest, Arabia, and Acre. I think those are kind of the most four standard ones. I feel like Immersion is... I don't know, this is the combination that I feel like I've seen a lot. Because, like, there's the standard Arabia, there's Aftermath, which feels like Arabia light. It does have those hills, which I forget what they do. But, Acre seems really interesting, but also, like, surprisingly standard for how crazy of a map it is. And then Immersion's the, like, not water, but water map. Ban Sunburn, very sad, but understandable. And it's hyper random. We're starting with hyper random. That's what I like to see. We'll see if it's if it's as good as the Otter Cambridge game that we just casted. Okay, so we can go through the admin bans and take a quick peek at what that means. So a lot of, I mean, Persians there, Huns, Dravidians. I know someone's a fan of them. Burgundians, Saracens. So not the most top-heavy admin ban list. Some of the main bands like Celts and Mongols and Missing Co-caster. What about a Missing Co-caster? Or is eighth? Oh, I see what you're saying. Am I saying my Missing Co-caster is a fan? Oh, of the Dravidians? Got you. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I was very confused. We're talking about my other co-caster who is my dear little boy, Ace. But alright, so we'll see the bands. Spanish, Sicilians, the Woo. I have to check something out. Hold on. Where is season 6 chat? Pull up. This. The Woo. Interesting. I mean, I don't know if the Woo are... Maybe I just don't know about it, but... Oh, this is the other one. That's the wrong one. The Woo seems like a ban one. An interesting ban. Chinese, Magyars, Slavs, Churchens, and Celts. Yeah. So outside of Woo, all these are crazy. Is Woo like a pocket favorite for favorite? I'm surprised by a Woo ban. But not the Woo you know. All right. Blind picks. Bengalis, Mongols, and Georgians. That all checks out. Those are all very solid civs. I mean, I guess Mongols were the last of that top-ranked civ, so it makes sense that they were picked. And it's top-tier players. You're gonna see the meta picks. So Turks, Koreans. Real quick to remind ourselves, we got one water map and a half potential water map and another kind of potential water map, but not really. So no, I mean, immersions, yeah. Woo ban. Are Woo that good on water? I mean, there's immersion, but I haven't seen them on any of the other water maps. Like, I've never seen anyone pick the Woo. Maybe they've just been getting banned all the time, but I'm just going to go here real quick and just take a quick peekaroo. Woo. Naval Civ. Okay. Military production docks provide 65 food. What? Oh, 65 food, not pop space. I thought that was pop space, and I was like, that's insane. Demo ships, deal fire damage to ships and buildings. Okay. Yeah, so that does seem like they're really good on water. Okay, I guess that makes sense. If you're worried about just the Woo all in or something like that, is with Woo, yeah. House faster as well. That's fair. Okay. Koreans, Teutons, Bulgarians, Vietnamese, Bohemians, Japanese, Cumans, Gujaras, Romans. All right. How do we feel about this draft pick? We'll do the snipes in a second. Faster houses matter? Absolutely, yeah. Gujaras. Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, like, Vietnamese, Bulgarians, there is Acre, so I could see the Bulgarians there. Like, I like Zayu's draft. I do like favorites as well, but I'm also not the biggest fan. I mean, I'm old school, so I don't really know the modern day stuff, like Japanese and Romans. Japanese without towers, because I remember like 3 years ago, Japanese were really good because of the towers and stuff. Without towers, they feel kind of mid. I know they're pretty solid. What's up, Zardis? Alright. Snipes, Mongols. Nobody likes mirror matches. Back in the day, it was all mirror match this, mirror match that. Now everyone avoids them like the plague. Honestly, one of these DM tournaments just has to be only mirror matches. Just go back to the old days. I know everyone hates it, but I want to see Frank Wars every once in a while. Hun Wars, the classics. Host it. I don't know if I have the effort or time right now. At least maybe in the future. Maybe. We can talk. But also at the same time, I feel like that's a fun novelty thing, and then it's like, after a couple games, everyone's like, alright, cool, can we go back to non-mirror matches? Because mirror matches are always interesting. But, alright, so, first game's going to be Hyper Random. What are people feeling for the Hyper Random pick for each player? I mean, we can look at the map pool here as well. So it's one water map. There's Akure, which is kind of like a half water map, and then Arabia, or Runestones, and Aftermath, which I believe is just like similar to Arabia. There's something on those hills. I always forget what it is. But, you know, 2 standard maps. Akure for unique units, which, I mean, Bulgarians are a pretty solid pick is what I remember from being there. Turks for immersion is pretty solid. And then Koreans for immersion as well. There's no shoals. So Hyper Random. And I guess you probably don't want to risk the Teutons on a Hyper Random. Jordans could be a play. Japanese are pretty solid all around, right? Yeah. Any guesses before we get going? Last call. Or forever hold your peace. Mirror returning only civs that weren't there in Mirror Era would be fire. That would be interesting. That actually is really cool. That'd be cool to do some show matches. Just to kind of see what like mirror matches like those are. Jordans versus Viets. I mean, I can see that. I can definitely see that. Though then again, I like Georgians from what I hear are really solid with the cav space stuff. So maybe you want to hold them for a more standard map. Because like I feel like with Hyper Random, you kind of want to toss a civ, not necessarily toss a civ away, but you don't want to use one of your like more dedicated civs. Like you probably don't want to do Turks on Hyper Random because you need them. You want them for a water map or something, right? So, okay, let's get underway. Let me switch to intermission. No, in here. All right, let's get underway and go. Welcome to Division 1A for Tarnished Deathmatch. In the red, playing the Turks on Hyper Random is Zayu. And in the blue, playing the Koreans is Favorite. And holy crap, we have keeps. A bunch of keeps already built right at the start for both people. So, at Otter, we have to ban both these players. They have towers. Ban them both. Get them out of here. Otherwise, this is a pretty basic... I mean, they have the hero units. They have Algirdas. But, like, otherwise it seems like a pretty standard map, just with the towers protecting them. 1 eco kill. So it does get a kill for the hero. And it looks like... I'm sorry, was there a hero ship? What time we're at? We're at 1:58. I'm sorry, I need to know this. This is very important information. Okay, there's a hero ship. And they're just demos or something? That's wild. Here we go. Alright. So, Early Rush has finished. Regenerating demo? That's insane. Yeah. Okay, so I mean, it's kind of hard to do any aggression with how far away the map is and having 4 keeps defending everything. So, I mean, it's just going to be a pretty standard map. And we see a lot of docks already coming up for Zayu. We want to control this middle water. Halberdier is going to be the play, and we actually even see some docks up north from Favorite. I mean, pretty obvious that, like, this there's some standard map. I don't remember what it is, but this is, like, the layout of a standard map. And I'm assuming it's pretty similar strategy for that, where you want to control the water. Where is there a monk? I'm sorry. The ship can convert? The ship is a monk? What? That's insane. Monk boat is insane. Okay, I mean, Halberdier spam, Cavalier spam. The monk boat goes down. That's so sad. Oh no, the monk boat is... Yeah, the monk boat's down. That's insane. Okay, cool. You find out something new about Age every day. Oh, that galleon's a little too close. And it's going to be Devils versus galleons. We're going to have halberdiers and war wagons. We're going to see cavalier from Zayu, and both sides are just going to be able to expand pretty heavily with the water really protecting everything. And water hills. We love to see water hills. It's going to make water combat so confusing. But it's going to be just nonstop water spam to protect it. And like maybe there'll be some ferried boats, like some transport ships. Maybe get some villagers across and get some raids in. But this is going to be very Mitchie or Amazon Tunnel-esque, where there's all the fighting is kind of in the middle. So water control is going to be very important simply because you need to maintain the control. If these were walkable all the way down, you wouldn't need to control water quite as heavily. But with the choke point being in the middle is very important. So war wagons, rocket carts, going to be fighting all this heavy water. We see castle going up for Zayu. And Zayu even expanding over here on the stone, some of these resources. There's not a lot of resources on the map, actually. This is a very, very gold and stone light map, it feels like. Maybe there's a bunch of 2 and 3 tiles all over, but it feels very low. So it could just be a very quick trash game. But yeah, a lot of fights in the middle. Favorite really winning this water heavily. Already up double the military. But that castle is going to make it very tough to push into it. Though we do have a bunch of cannon galleons coming from this top side. There's just been non-stop water wars. Good identification from both players to realize how important water is going to be here. Now the war wagon's starting to pressure some of the villagers and going forth into the economy. And now the dock's starting to fall. Rocket cart's doing a really good job against these galleons. And it's just tough for Zayu to kind of keep up with the massive military that Favorite has. Favorite going really heavy into water, really heavy with some better units, winning the halberdiers, probably trading incredibly well early on. And we see a bunch of hussars for Zayu, but I mean, he's lost water. This is a massive military from Favorite, having double the military pop right now. Favorite trying not to press into the keeps and castles, so able to keep his economy a little bit protected here. As Hussars start taking out some of these ships, but like these docks are starting to fall. Cannon galleons are going to start raiding these castles, and Zayu's going to be pushed off the water. And if Favorite can really establish, oh, we have a massive raid. I don't know how I missed this. Massive raid in the back. Zayu probably finding a few eco kills. Yeah, getting huge kills here. That's where all the military for Zayu is, using this extensive land map or land portion of the water to be able to sneak some military in the back, get some eco kills, finding 12 eco kills so far. It's gonna definitely hurt Favorite, but Favorite is winning the fight in the middle, still has the massive military advantage, and now we see the military coming in on the side flank, trying to take out these Korean war wagons, but so much military here for Favorite, more than double. Favorite going not necessarily all in, but has maxed out entirely, doesn't have a lot of eco behind this, but will be able to start transitioning into an eco. Is kind of going, not necessarily all in, but like he is committing very heavily into military here. He's going to max out, try to stay capped out, and slowly start trickling in some eco. But Zayu going a little bit more of an economy role. We actually do see some halberdiers sneaking off to the top side, maybe trying to prevent any expansions. There's not a lot of resources to pick up, and this fight in the middle is continuing to go honestly a little bit better for Zayu. I think Zayu's pulling it back. Favorite's down to 70 military. Doesn't have the reinforcements. Just this mass number of galleons is outpacing the units from Favorite. The war wagon's not doing enough damage to these galleons, and the galleons just continue to press forward. And these cavalier raiding on the top side, cleaning up all those war wagons, and like Favorite's down in military. So the Zayu lost a lot right there in that trade. This is just a non-stop fight right in the middle, just slobber knocker. And just now we see some bomber cannons starting to range some of these buildings. We see more hussar coming out to try to snipe maybe some of those siege. But cannon galleons and galleons are going to kind of form this defensive little backbone. And we see the galleons being patrolled forward, and a mistake, losing a bunch of galleons for free. Now the hussars chasing them away. And Zayu has established his water control. Huge, taking out these war wagons. War wagons just kind of being thrown away, now being pulled back. And Favorite on the back foot, down 30 military, needs to expand the eco. Has the castle in the south to prevent it against any landings, but Zayu now able to establish firm water control, having that massive, massive army of galleons, is going to be able to control that middle. And so now he can kind of leak some hussars in. The unfortunate and or fortunate thing is that this walkable area is wide enough that he can kind of sneak units through. But now Zayu's going to start pressuring all this docks of Favorite, and Favorite might get knocked off here. You could probably post up a few bombard cannons or trebs on this other side and range the docks on the other side. So we could see something like that. In the meantime, I think with the cannon galleons and the bomber cannons, bomber cannon going just absolutely decimated. But Zayu, I think his plan is going to be start pushing up along this riverbank and try to take out these docks. And it's also just maintain control of the south water, prevents the favorite from getting onto water at all. And we see a massive, massive Hussar raid coming in. And the War Wagons, while fast, aren't as fast as Hussar. The Hussar is going to be able to dive onto these back resources and get a lot of kills here. Even hiding some of these away, just start taking away at some docks. But the galleys will probably clean that up. Some nice raids from Zayu. And Zayu kind of expanding down here. And trying to get some outposts and see what's going on down here. Does find out that the castle's up. We see a monastery coming up. His favorite starts transitioning into the middle game and preparing for that. And now we see the turtle ships trying to fight back on water. It's going to require some good ship micro to be able to outpace these turtle ships. Those turtle ships, super tanky, dealing a lot of damage, and favorite committing heavily with those. And needs to, like, this is also something that, like, you don't really think about in water maps because there's hills in this water map. So getting that hill, there we go. Now on top of that hill. So needs to establish that hill control. And those turtles do go down. Does take out a bunch of the galleons with them, but it's still water control in favor of Zayu. And Zayu now doing a two-pronged push. One on the top side to deal with water. One on the bottom side to try to clean up some of the, prevent any expansion. We see the War Wagons checking over here for any docks or anything, but Zayu, or favorite, is going to struggle to get back on the water. These cannon galleons just ranging this castle, taking out these kind of defensive structures. And now here come the Hussars, flanking in on the War Wagons, going to take out all these War Wagons. And champions, as good as champions are, you don't want to be throwing champions up against Hussars too often. It's just gold units, especially when they're getting ranged by these these cannon galleons. And these docks are getting cleaned up. And we have a galleon here just kind of being threaded, sent to his death. Zayu's going to establish full water control here. I do like how favorite is protected using those halberdiers that aren't going to get much value otherwise to protect against that relic. Just kind of slow down any potential relic, reduce the gold overall. But now I think favorite's focusing on trying to win the south side and not give too much ground up top. But this massive army down here is going to cause problem. These Hussars just nuking the army, or the infantry, or the villagers of favorite. The champions will clean them up. That's causing so many problems. And those War Wagons continuing to be destroyed. Villagers do get sent forward to their death. And Zayu's down in military now. Still has water control and just needs to make sure not to overextend here. Has to pull them back onto a place where they maybe can range and be safe. But a bomber cannon or two is going to range those cannon galleons. And favorite finding a pretty nice engagement, keeping them trapped on this side. And the War Wagons going in for a raid, finding some villagers. And those rocket carts doing some solid damage. And this water control is kind of up in the air now. I mean, he still has this entire north side, so he's totally fine here. But, like, this army from Zayu, he doesn't have the forces. I mean, there's demos coming in. All these demos are going to land some great shots. Yeah, takes out a lot of War Wagons, so favorite kind of has to recontest water in some way. He's going to try to contest land, and the War Wagons have cleaned up a gold expansion. Oh, wow, yeah, Turks still have 7k gold. That's insane. But the War Wagons going to start raiding. The water control is going to continue to be focus. And, yeah. I mean, now we see a raid on the top with some camels and hussars. Castle is there to defend the wood lines, but they're still going to find some damage, maybe pull favorite's attention away. And it's just like, these War Wagon raids are great, but there's really not much to raid, right? All the economy is hidden behind these keeps and castles. Water is entirely in Zayu's control. Like, favorite's able to get through here, but the demos are going to start coming out, and I think Zayu realized that he can just start demoing the hell out of favorite, and it's going to get some really favorable trades. Hussars have wiped out a lot of eco. Holy crap. There used to be a lot of people here, and now they're all gone. Favorite focused entirely in the middle, though. That's a lot of War Wagons. A lot of War Wagons can make something done. I mean, you look at the military count. Favorite has the military advantage right now, and Zayu down to 141 pop. Needs to kind of reboom. Has resources. Needs more wood. Or needs more food and wood to keep producing his units, but we see Cavalier being masked up for Zayu. Zayu going to go with Cavalier. And favorite's now pop capped, so I mean, Zayu has all these Cavalier and all these galleons and cannon galleons and nothing much else. So we'll see what Zayu kind of transitions into if it's just full-on Cavalier spam, which it seems to be the case. But these War Wagons getting a lot of value. I mean, they're taking out a TC and some villagers here, so there's not a lot of eco to spread out to. But the water control's still in Zayu's favor. Favorite can't really... He snuck an entire army across, which is nice, but he's not going to be able to get any reinforcements or anything there. He's going to have to continue to contest in the middle. And we see villagers coming across trying to expand onto the stone. They're going to run right into all these halberdiers, and favorite will have none of that. I would have loved to see a castle. Demo lands takes out a couple of halberdiers, but these villagers are all going to go down. trying to get a castle on the middle hill or on this other side. I think it's going to be whoever can establish a foothold on the other side. And this is a massive push by favorite. No siege to back it up and no villagers either. If there's a villager who's snuck through and you could build some production units back here, it'd be great. I'd love to even see a dock and try to sneak a villager over with a transport ship. But we actually see a transition into cav archers being added by Zayu. Which against like war wagons, I mean, sure. But I mean, I think this army, this is a lot of cavalier about to come in, but he's fallen back a little bit, letting the army continue to push. You see the halberdiers get chewed up in the middle by the ships, and Zayu maintains map control. But this army is posing a lot of problems, and this is a nice engagement spot from favorite. Even though he could be on a hill, he's kind of wedged between these trees, so he's not able to get a full surround with the units. The cav archers are on a hill and getting some very good damage here, and the cav archers are going to force them back a little bit. But the cavalier can't engage on these war wagons. In the meantime, yeah, I mean, now they're going to engage on these cav archers. I assume the cav archers lose that, so they have to kind of fall back. And those cavs just not able to get a good surround. So nice choke point from favorite, finding a nice little area just to continue to harass from and not worry too much about taking a massively lost fight, because this is most of favorite's army. He is starting to get a bank kind of built up. So we'll see how this goes. And he's now, Zayu's reconsidering. He's going to send the Cavalier into the base of Favorite and go for maybe a bit of a base trade. I mean, it is kind of hard to push into it, especially because Favorite has no siege to push with, right? As much as Zayu feels like he needs to answer this, the war wagons aren't going to destroy any buildings. There's castles, there's keeps. In the meantime, the Cavalier are going to come forward with some cannon galleons to range these forward buildings. Some Trebs already at the ready to start pressuring some of the buildings. The Cavaliers are going to get some good engagements here, but like, I don't know, where's the siege? There's the Trebs coming forward. A few more siege units from Zayu would start actually causing some problems. But yeah, this army is like slowly getting picked apart and costing some cav archers and stuff. But like, this army is just being annoying. It's not actually pressuring anything too much. It's taking some farm space. And these cav archers probably starting to get to a number that maybe they'll be able to deal with it with half the war wagons focusing it. So I think that army is going to go down, but now it just means that, okay, now Zayu can focus here. We actually see villagers coming over here to try to get to this gold, and those halberdiers hanging out there the entire time. Check golds. How do I check the full gold stuff? I don't, can I just go back and do this or something? There's, I am not very skilled with cap trades, let's put it that way. Just look for him. Okay, so like one of the things I noticed early on was there's just not a lot of resources. So there's some stones, a lot of golds in the map, so that has been cleaned up. There's this gold pile over here that halberdiers have denied. There's just not a lot of gold on this map. So that's kind of the biggest thing, is relics were an important thing, and both sides just don't have a lot of gold. That was kind of from the get-go. There's been low resources. In the south, yeah. And we see some docks over here just having a elite cannon galleon patrol to keep the water control and prevent any sneaky shenanigans. But we get a big fight in the middle. War wagons continuing to pose problems, and water control is gone. Zayu not able to reinforce the docks without any gold. So very low gold income from Zayu, out of gold, and no more gold. And Favorite still having plenty of gold income. Has 3k in the bank. Yeah, he was taking so much in the southern corner. Yeah, there's a bunch of gold down here. And he has the relics. He got the relics really early, so that's helped immensely. Yeah, I think Zayu just didn't do enough with his really dominant position in the middle and focused too heavily on this war wagon distraction. So it's going to be interesting to see if Zayu can hold on here, but without any gold units, it's going to be very tough. Rocket cart's starting to pressure some of the buildings. Only one Treb, so we need to see some more Trebs from Favorite to really start pressuring these positions. We actually even see some heavy cav archers trying to go in here and raid, but I think now Favorite is out of gold miners too. So there's going to be no more gold on the map. We have, or I mean, there's these gold resources left. Let's see. Can I? Oh, that's wood. There we are. Yeah, only 1,600 gold in the entire map left. So Zayu had water control and just did not really press forward with it. And so, unable to really win off the back of that early water control, he was forced into, yeah, he just eventually lost it. Doesn't have the resources, and Favorite's going to start pushing forward. I think that distraction with the war wagons. It's like, yeah, you have to answer that, but there was no siege coming from it. You really couldn't push past these farms. So I think that was a slight mistake from Zayu, focusing so heavily and committing so many resources to deal with that, and just kind of lollygagging on actually pushing into the base when Zayu had that massive map advantage, massive map control. Couldn't really push into anywhere. And I mean, some Cav Archer raids are really nice, clean this all up, but the fight in the middle is kind of deciding what is happening here. And now taking out these very important keeps that prevented that early aggression, taking out these buildings, and I think Zayu might have to tap out here. Down to 161 military, 161 pop. Favorites pop capped, has 36 Hussars in the queue, and plenty of, still 3k gold. That's insane. And he has, yeah, he sent villagers over here, finally Zayu has, to get that gold. So he's going to get some gold income, which is very, very important, but it might be a little too late. Does have one relic that's going to be taken, and we even have a monk ready to steal that relic. Favorite, very good at identifying, hey, we're already out of gold on the map. Send this monk to try to steal it. There is a relic up top that he might be going for as well. I would have gone for this one first. But massive Hussar ball here, but I think those Hussars aren't going to be able to do a great job dealing with the war wagons. And we have a nice little base down here, so it could be in a long wood game, but I think Favorite just has still 2k in the bank, is going to get at least one more relic, is going to get this relic. If he is, this one monk did get sniped, so he should know that there's something up there. We'll see if Favorite, I mean, the fact that Favorite's not contesting this gold and Zayu's just getting some free gold that he desperately needs is a huge, huge mistake. I assume Favorite probably assumes that gold has already been taken. Oh, he had halberdiers up there. People get tired from watching Korean mirrors. What is the deal with Korean mirrors? Are Koreans just the best civ in Red Bull Wololo right now? Is that what I'm hearing? Is that the joke? Like, is it just like ungodly the only option right now? Because I was seeing, that's what I watched like a bit of a hair of it or something. So we see actually some raids in the back. These Cav Archers continue to be a little bit annoying, killing villagers here and there. And this map is just getting messy and drawn out, and we're getting into a wood game, folks. But, I mean, Favorite just has such a massive military lead, has siege ready to go. I mean, Zayu's on the back foot, and now the Hussars coming in to raid this gold, and villagers coming in from... Oh, Demo's just camping here, killing a monk. Some villagers are going to come over and try to steal that gold, which is absolutely important. 700 gold remains. Not a lot of gold left, but still enough that it is absolutely worth trying to steal, and this war wagon ball is just not able to really be contested. And we have a castle on the other side. Like I said, whoever is able to establish a foothold on the other side of the river first is probably going to win the map. It took this long, and I think Zayu had a chance to establish a foothold on Favorite's map earlier on, which is, I think, a mistake he made. But he can just kind of fall back to this this castle, keep pushing in with some trebs and some rocket carts. And, I mean, there's just not a lot of gold units for the Turks. He has the bombard cannon, the singular bombard cannon, and a lot of Hussars. Which, like, Turk Hussars are solid, but with some rocket carts and some Korean war wagons, they're going to probably do pretty well here. And the military numbers just dropping for Zayu, and I think he's probably going to tap out here. All the military gone, down to 5, and Zayu has to tap out. Yeah, it's a very interesting game. Zayu had that early lead, wasn't able to capitalize on it, and Favorite holding on, pushing forward, and once he gets into the late game, has the gold banks. Zayu ran out of gold, and just absolutely was able to push. Those war wagons on this left side getting so much more value than I think they deserve to. I think Zayu focused too heavily on them and just never really made Favorite deal with this problem at home. So if we look in like kind of the middle area, where were the war wagons? War wagons were a bit mid-game, right? So yeah, the war wagons are over here. They got some good damage and stuff, but like up here and stuff, maybe it's a little bit past this point. But it's yeah, the halberdiers. It was before here. Like, it's just, there's all this time earlier on where it's just Zayu had the full map control, and he just never really pushed into. Like, he did some raids, just never really pushed into the base, right? Like, never tried to establish a foothold, never tried to get a castle on the hill in the areas, never really sent siege forward, and just kind of, like, was content to kind of camp. And if this map had resources, so if we go back to the very start, we can look. Pull back. Only 30k gold. Like, all the gold is in these two piles, right? In the main and the secondary gold. The rest of the gold on the map, there is just not resources. There's some stone here and there. 2 gold pile. 2 gold pile. 2 gold pile, 3 gold pile. It just doesn't feel like there's a lot of resources for what a hyper random map generation is. And there's not even that much gold down here. Like there's a 2 pile, there's a 3 pile. There's just not a lot of gold. Piles might have a lot of them. 533. How much does a normal pile have? I feel like a normal pile has way more than 533. Or they just they're randomized. Okay. 850. So the ones at home have a lot. Those ones don't. Check the others. 497. 533. 432. 971. Yeah, it was a low resource, low gold game. I mean, even if you back up and really 30k gold total, it doesn't feel like a lot. Yeah. And so it's just Zayu just wasn't able to push through. So I'm going to apologize. I do need to go run to the restroom again. I've been chugging water nonstop, and we'll get a second game going. That being said, give me 1 second, just do BRB and set up the next game. All right. So that was Turks lost against the Koreans on Hyper Random. And I will say that the next map is Immersion. So let's take a look at the Civ draft. Surprisingly, there's no Turks for Immersion, which is, I feel like, the lower level kind of main idea. The button is the bottom right of the minimap. Okay, I'll try that out. So what are we thinking for Immersion? Bengalis? That seems reasonable. All right, I'll be right back. I'm just go hit the head. Chug some more water. I don't know how T90 does it. He does hours without. All right, what are we thinking? What are people's thoughts? Version coming up. Bengalis versus Bohemians is a prediction from Griffin. Excellent. My blanket. Oh. Not a big fan of White Elephant gift exchanges because I just don't like the randomness and feeling obligated and blah, blah, blah. But my family did one and I was obligated to do it. And I ended up getting a heated blanket. And oh boy, was I surprised with how excited I was for getting that. Heated blanket is so great. All right, hair is a little bit fixed. I'm switching hats. As much as I love Paprika's, or just Wharton's, Paprika's Porygon hat, it is my head's too big for dad caps. Here, you know what? Even though it's DM and you never see him, we'll go with the best age hat that I have, the Mayan hat. Or Maya's now, I guess. Maya. Which, like, sure, I get it, but bring back Obsidian Arrows. Even when I started, Mayans were my favorite civ. Before I knew anything really about the game. And then I saw this hat from the company that I usually get my hats from, and I was like, yo, it's Destiny. It's so great. Send me a picture. I did. I saw it, yeah. I appreciate that. Okay. So, I do hope, like, I did see somewhere someone was saying, like, the American civs might be getting some reworks or something, which maybe that gives them some niches in DM, but cool. All right. Curry burps. Fun. Incas will be reworked. I saw that. Which is, like, I guess fair. They've always felt kind of, like, weird. I don't know. Incas have always felt like they're just kind of a mishmash of other civs. And I feel like they just never had their identity compared to, like, Aztecs and Mayas being more, I don't know, more identity focused, so. Oh, Jesus, these burps. You like Inca's identity? Right. And I mean, this is also back when Incas were just not very good compared to Mayans and Aztecs. Like, I played back when Mayans and Aztecs were both S tier, right? Like, Aztecs were, like, them and Vikings were just S tier for RM, nonstop. And then a bunch of changes happened, the new civs came out. So, anyways, that's enough talking about the old days. Let's switch over to this game and get one more slug of water. And get on to game 2. So, game 2. Favorite took the first game. And in the red, for Division 1, Tarnished Deathmatch, we have Zayu playing the Bengalis. And in the blue, contesting him after winning the first game, is Favorite with the Bohemians. This is, you're saying it's a Civ win, Otter? I mean, Bengalis are pretty strong, and they immediately go to the docks. Favorite taking their time, getting some halberdiers and an archery range going up, and a castle. So, Favorite not even going to contest the water. Interesting play. Scout's going to try to find some damage. I mean, this villager's running the wrong way, away from the halberdier. Halberdier does save that villager. So, Favorite does manage to get that. Not quite a Civ win, but a Civ advantage. That makes sense. I mean, where there's a Hoofnice, there's a way, right? But the Cannon Galleon already is out for Zayu, and an uncontested pond. That Cannon Galleon is going to cause so much problems for Favorite. I mean, we saw with Otter's game, I think, where Otter just had, or was it Cambridge? I think it was Otter who just had the uncontested immersion pond, right? And managed to get a victory off of that. These Cannon Galleons are able to range these forward buildings, just free damage. That is just a free building win. Like, taking out a production building this early for absolutely free is just massive. It slows down the production so much. I mean, hand cannoneers are coming out. And it's going to be elephants and cannon galleons. This is going to be tough for Favorite to deal with. I mean, he has halberdiers. He has some range units. Both cannon galleons continuing to range them. All Zayu needs to do is maybe add a treb or two and continue to pump out elephants. And I don't know if Favorite can hold on to this. Elephant's going to find some gunpowder off exposed, and that's going to be some free gunpowder's lost. And more buildings continue to go down for these uncontested cannon galleons. There's so many of them. They're just taking out these production buildings. And here come the wagons. And again, like, this could do well, but these cannon galleons are going to cause a huge problem for Favorite. And I don't know if Favorite's going to be able to actually really contest this. Hoofnice is out, and there's going to be some top-level micro needed to be able to contest these cannon galleons. And so far, all right. Hoofnice is down to 1 HP. These cannon gallons continue to range and do all this damage, and these elephants are going to try to engage here, and we see a big engagement. Halberdiers are getting some very good engagements. Not a lot of elephants focusing on the halberdiers, so this could be a very decent fight from Favorite. I mean, it is definitely a Zayu favorite, but he is cleaning up a lot of these elephants and is going to give himself some breathing room. But these cannon gallons continue to rain havoc on him. Establishing dot control, Zayu really playing this just completely dominating position. Does clean up that elephant bush. The Hoofney's a little too far forward. Going to land a shot, and we see some good micro. But Elephant's going to try to engage on this and go forward, and Halberdiers will meet to engage them. But there's not enough Halberdiers to deal with this massive meatball shield. And these gunpowder units are going to do some pretty solid damage. Those Elephants getting the surround with their trample damage is just going to decimate those Halberdiers. And Favorite needs to try to establish a firm, solid Halberdier defensive ball to be in front of these Hussite wagons. But he doesn't have them, and the cannon gallons just all over the map. Especially with this dock, like, it's just, there's nowhere for Favorite to expand to. He's trying to expand, trying to establish an economy, and is 9 villagers behind. Oh, these Halberdiers are a little bit too forward. I mean, Favorite has to force an issue, has to force a fight somewhere, and he's gonna just get melted. These Halberdiers get destroyed. They're forced to go back. The wagons falling back. Hoofneys are up in numbers, so they could make something happen with landing some shots on these cannon gallons. Does snipe one, and so with some proper micro here, oof, taking a few shots here. So it is up to a Favorite to really come back from this bad position. But this is a lot of wagons. They're going to be able to engage decently on these elephants. But he needs Halberdiers. And the cannon gallons continue to range. Now Trebs are out to land some shots. And this is just, I mean, Elephant Archer is going to soak it up. And Zayu's not taking the best fights possible, but does have a lot of elephants in reserve. And I think Zayu knows that he doesn't really need to force too much of an issue. He has firm map control, and now this castle is going to force the issue. Hoofneys are a little bit exposed. Might lose a few of them if Zayu notices. And yeah, there's one down. But it's so tough to engage into just 11 cannon galleon. Oh, those are regular galleons. Only, yeah, 12 cannon galleons. That's so tough to engage in. I mean, the Hoofneys can make something happen, but they're just, you just can't deal with the hoof. You can't focus on microing the Hoofneys when you have all these elephants. And there's a lot of Halberdiers, so there is a good meat shield to deal with the elephants. But I don't know if it's enough. The castle does get denied. And so trying to rebuild it slightly back in a little better position. That's a very tough castle to put forward. And it could cause some problems if he commits to it. Does get taken down again. That's a lot of stone being lost by Zayu just for free. Some of the Hoofneys do go down. Decent engagements, but the elephant numbers are going down. There's a lot of war Hussite wagons to deal with. Favorite kind of making something out of nothing here. But all the Halberdiers are down. The elephants are now onto the wagon back line. And wagons have to fall back a little bit. Halberdiers trying to come forward and deal with it. But that's a lot of wagons dead as the elephants start engaging with them. And that's, you know, not the worst trades. But, I mean, it doesn't really gain anyone any ground. And Zayu with the map control is kind of fine with this. We see a dock starting to come out, so maybe Favorite trying to contest. I mean, he has taken out all the ships on the cannon galleons on the south dock, or the south pond, so there's a chance for Favorite to maybe try to sneak in some water control here and give himself a little bit of breathing room. But the cannon galleons continue to pose so much problems, and just patrolling up here and keeping, like, all these resources Favorite can't take. See an elephant raid in the back, just a solo elephant. Well, I don't even know. I mean, yeah, no, Favorite definitely notices that, has villagers in the TC. That elephant will go down eventually. And Favorite just buying himself some time. Zayu trying to steal all the resources, taking all these neutral resources, expanding their eco, and just has the map control. And, I mean, the question remains. Oh, we see a big engagement here as the Hussite Wagons try to take out some of these pond ships. And I think they're doing all right here, but that's a lot of wagons down, and Favorite doesn't have a lot of, still has no space. We see 71 Bengalis on gold. He is just committing to taking all of these resources. And massive push on the side. Zayu, or Favorite, has identified that he wants to take this north pond. He wants to access this gold and this stone, and he is going to sacrifice all of his halberdiers to do this. In the meantime, though, this does give an opening for Zayu to push on the south side. He's going to set up a very forward castle, try to steal this gold, push the base of Favorite on this side. The elephant's going to go forward. Trebs are a little bit far forward. The Hussar wagons are going to be able to take out one of them before they have to switch focus to the elephants. The halberdiers need to come forward and deal with it. The elephants engaging on the Hussar wagons as Favorite's focus is entirely on the top side, is going to take this out, and the castle does go up, and this lake will be taken by Favorite. But in the meantime, he's lost control of the south side. He's lost control of his units. He's lost a lot of wagons. we'll have to question, the question is going to be, was the focus on taking out the north side worth it, committing all of his halberdier up there to deal with it? And even then, the docks don't go fully down. The castle is up and will take it down. But, I mean, it's just so much damage up front. He's lost, there's a castle going up on the south side. He's expanded a little bit to the north, but at the cost of losing the south. And so now he's going to reposition the very slow halberdiers, like he's up against an even slower unit composition. And the wagons trying to do their best, but he's lost so many wagons. If he lost all those if he hadn't lost all those wagons, the elephants, he'd have a better shot here. And the Hoofy's going to land some nice shots here, but that's still a good amount of elephants. And now the halberdiers here clean up the elephants, and he's able to push us back. And this castle probably won't get denied, but they take out the 2 trebs, so this expansion is prevented from going too far forward. And the castle's going to go up, and at least Favorite has stopped the push in the south side until that castle goes up and starts dropping some trebs to start ranging them. Yeah, but Favorite really committed to taking out this pawn, like, set his entire army up here. And he has established control, has access to these resources, has access to these wood lines that he was running. I mean, he has plenty of wood still. But, I mean, now this gives Zayu a chance to take out this forward gold. Hoofnies are going to start ranging this, and it's going to be a question of if Zayu tries to continue to push on the south side. And, I mean, Favorite's trying to stretch the map, trying to push on this top side and make some questions have to be answered. Okay, there's a okay, I was wondering, I was like, is this war wagon pooping cannonballs or something? But it's the cannon galleons trying to hit it, and they're not doing the greatest job. So we see some engagements. Oh, we see a big push on the south side. Zayu trying to push into this and trying to take out this castle. If he can take out this castle, that leaves this entire south side of his economy completely exposed. And there's not a lot of military here from Favorite. Favorite's going to take not a great engagement here, as the elephant archers are able to kite the halberdiers away. That's a lot of HP in the south side and not a lot of units. I mean, the Hoofnies continue to rain down fire. And try to take some good engagements here. And I think Favorite's taking some solid engagements. Not the greatest, but he is at least able to hold off the engagement of Zayu. But Zayu's starting to push, has the gold starting to be populated, has the trebuchets, and we actually even see monks coming out as well. So we can check real quick, just real quick. Very forward monastery. I know Otter loves his forward monasteries, but all 5 relics in Zayu's control is a huge boon if the game keeps going late. Archers trying to take out some Hoofnies, but the Hoofnies are going to get some good value here. I want to get all the Hoofnies. Actually, we'll just do this. 11 kills for Hoofnies, so not as much as we think. How's it going, Chef? Hope you're doing well. We're casting some DM. So yeah, pressure continues, and now the cannon galleons are out for Favorite on this north pond, really benefiting from this. I know the cannon galleons were ranging some of the range the castle here and cause some problems, but Favorite's starting to force a little bit of attention up here. Zayu still maxed out, has a massive bank, has plenty of elephants in the queue. I think Favorite has a decent position here, but Zayu's just been able to bank so many resources, all 5, and cannon galleons on the outskirts taking out that castle easy. The elephants are going to now be able to go in unopposed. I mean, they are in a little bit of a cluster, so the Hoofnies will be able to get some good landing shots on them. Both cannon galleons supporting along the coast. It's going to be a very tough problem for Favorite to deal with. I wouldn't be surprised if he drops a dock here, try to get some demos out there and just clean up some of these cannon galleons, but I don't know if demos are the thing, or fires, or whatever, just something to deal with those cannon galleons. But Favorite is probably trying to think about trying to push a little bit on the top side, maybe make the map a little messy, but it is tough to deal with Zayu's pop cap situation, massive resources banked, and a lot of elephants. So Zayu looking still in a very dominating position. Even has a monk coming to heal all these elephants, and monks healing elephants is one of the scariest things. There's just so much HP that you get to save. Monk's even going to try to get a few conversions. That's a lot of Hoofnies, and they can, if they land 1 or 2 really good shots, that can be an entire army wiped out in seconds. But the cannon galleon's going to start taking out these buildings. That's going to be some pop space that Favorite's down to 185, and this could actually cause problems. We could see Favorite dealing with pop cap issues, and he's going to right away. Elephant's starting to push on the top side as well. The cannon galleon's starting to get some good range, and then Hoofni's trying to fight back in this middle pond. We see Hussite wagons also here. Elephant's trying to go for some raids on the top side to hit that economy. And yeah, I mean, Zayu's now making ground in the south. The cannon galleon's looping around, taking out TCs, taking out buildings, causing Favorite a lot of issues here. We even see the elephant raids on the top side. Favorite once again being squeezed for resources. Cannon galleons continue to sit in the middle, and Favorite committed a lot to try to clear up some of this middle pond, but he's not able to. And in the meantime, he's lost so much in the south. He's losing all of the shoreline. He's losing houses and stuff. Honestly, at this point, I mean, he has 2 cannon galleons still going for this, which is huge. But I would have almost just kept these here and just taken out all these houses. This is, what? This is, how many houses? 6, 7, 8, 10 houses. That's 50 pop space. Like, Favorite just cannot win when he's down 40, ignoring any position if he's 40 less pop space. So, very good job from Zayu, starting to pressure where he's weak. I mean, these elephants coming in, just ignoring these cannon galleons. Some halberdiers here to deal with this, but all the resource, all that gold that we talked about, that Favorite fought so hard to get, is gone. Has 3,000 in the bank, which is nice, and has more gold than Zayu, but Zayu still is mining a bunch in the south, and has the cannon galleons and the water control, and just Favorite's base is disintegrating from all angles. He is being attacked from pretty much everywhere, trying to establish some farms up top, but with the water ring around it, those cannon galleons are just going to come over and range everything. Elephants even taking on houses in the top, and Favorite calls the GG. Insanely well played by Zayu. I think Favorite not going for the water in the middle at all is just, I don't think you can do that on immersion. I don't think I've seen mini games where there's been situations where someone just ignores the middle pond and survives. But that was a great win from Zayu. Favorite, I do want to look back at that, because I think like one of the most instructive things from this thing for people who aren't as good is going to be what happened up here. For better or worse, I think I would love to hear some more like actual analysis from better players on kind of what happened. Like, what we'll get to a position where it happens and just kind of look at the game state at that point, because I am interested. So it happens here, yeah. So okay, let's just take a look. So he's gathering up here. He's clearly planning on this, and he knows that this military is down here, right? So it's just because he has these gold, he wants to access these resources. And I think theoretically he could have pushed either side. This one's probably a little bit easier. I don't know which one would be easier to push. There's no castle up here, so at least there's that. And there's a monastery. There's 6 relics, even. I don't know. I think it's, like, I don't know if I would have come up with this plan. Obviously not. I'm not that great. But it just seems shocking that he committed all of his halberdier here and left his gunpowder here exposed. He left nothing in the south. And just, like, this is I'm winning this pond no matter what. Which, like, if you're going to commit, you have to commit this hard, which is good. But, at the same time, you have, like, what, 10 wagons to protect against this? Elephant's slightly out of position. Does take out one of these trebs. Honestly, he should have just committed all these wagons to take out these. And then he takes kind of a bad engagement. And then sends the halberdiers down. I think this is the problem. The problem that I had is he lost all of these Hussite wagons. I think if he had been able to keep those alive, just follow them back a little bit more earlier, he'd probably be in a better position. But it's, I don't know. It is such an interesting play to full commit to cleaning this pond, which worked out. But the cost was, I think, too great. He lost too many Hussite wagons, and he was never able to really stop this push on the south side. I think it was good that he committed to one of the sides. I think it was just a very steep cost, and he needed to do something when he was on that back foot. So, regardless, very good thing. I'm going to go to the BRB screen just to set up the next game. So give me 1 second. All right, now for a very important thing to check in, because I know Brislin's still here. The Patriots won. Long live the king. Everyone thought the Patriots were gone. The dynasty is over. They have the second coming. I hate it. I don't want New England fans to be happy. I've had to survive so much. They always, all the New England fans are just so happy all the time. Like, oh, it's been 2 years since we last won some sort of championship. So, hold on 1 second. I totally blanked on. All right, so I was just checking what map it was next. We just got off with Bengalis winning, and and the Bohemians losing. So the next map is going to be Runestones. So classic, essentially Arabia. What are we feeling civ-wise? I mean, this is kind of as classic as you can go. Georgians, Teutons. I don't expect Japanese Romans, though. Then again, maybe these are better for more of the crazier maps, whereas Romans... No, you want the Romans on Acre. Romans on Acre with the Centurions coming out really quick is pretty nice. Humans versus Teutons, you hope? The Keshiks... What game was it? Was it... It was Zhao Yomi, right? Otter? That we watched, where the Keshik ball was just insanely well microed and just was the craziest, like, humans getting there. I don't even know if humans won, but it was like such a crazy game. Let's probably rather humans versus Japan. That's fair. Do you not think like Vietnamese? I mean, I think Bulgarians, from what I understand, will probably go in Acre, and then with Aftermath coming up after. What are the hills in Aftermath? I forget what those hill. Current roster of ZZZ characters at some point. I mean, yo, Sky, I owe you a Destiny tier list as well. If you can give me the actual tier lists maker, like give me the tier list maker thing, I'll do one at some point. I also know none of the characters at ZZZ, and I don't play Gooner games, so. But hey, I owe you two tier lists for sure. I need to turn off all my channel things. I don't do channel things anymore. But humans are making Keshik. Someone is cheating. I mean, it worked. Oh, Keshik's Kipchek's other K unit. Yeah, so I can see like Vietnamese. I can see Gajara's. Well, probably like I suppose I don't know, because I don't think you do Vietnamese on Acre, right? Gajara's do. All right. Any other guesses, or should we just get right into it? Let's massage the throat a little bit. Go Bulg. I mean, I think Bulgarians are going to be saved for Acre because you get 2 castles right at the start. So you can just start making conics right away. Which I've seen multiple times, so I assume Bulgarians are a solid Acre civ. So, all right. Let's get into it for game 3. Switch scenes. Actually, hold on. I got a message in Discord. Give me 1 second. Don't know why I'm expecting it from... Oh. Alright. Friend talking about a game I used to play. Similar age, but it was Risk of Rain 2 that I used to play a lot of, and now I haven't played in years, but I should probably try it again. All right. Zayu, grilled fish. Oh god, I forgot about these. Yeah, I'm turning. Oh god. Well, I'll deal with all these reward requests after, but for now, go wild. Game. That's the wrong thing. Here we go. All right, game number 3 on Runestones in the blue. Trying to come back after a rough game on Immersion is Favorite playing the Teutons, and in the red is Zayu playing the Gajaras. So Teutons, Teutons. So we see stables and archer ranges for Zayu, and castles and barracks for Favorite. So, I mean, I feel like Teutons are kind of a straightforward civ. Maybe not super straightforward, but no... I mean, a couple of stables are coming up, but not right away. The camel is here. Halberdier is going elsewhere. Villager is saved, so no damage. Scout trying to come in here is not going to find any damage, especially with the camel chasing him down. But at least we'll get a scout into the base and see what is happening. We see elite elephant archers, Shrivamsa riders. Interesting. This is a matchup I'm not too sure about. I mean, Favorite really rushing down this castle. That is a lot of villagers committed to doing this castle, which, I mean, like, I guess is the play. But that is almost all your villagers. You have 2 villagers elsewhere. So, Favorite is really going to have to do the Teuton Turtle. And the Shrivamsa is going to come in here and really try to get some good damage. But that castle is going to go up and be a nice defensive thing. Castles with Teutons get... And ETKs, we got the Teuton Knights coming out, the KP boys. Teuton castles get the extra range. Yeah, the 3 extra range. So, see if there's any eco kills. But, I mean, right now I think Zayu's just trying to slow Favorite down. Even if he doesn't get any eco kills, he can't really afford to build too much. So Zayu, or Favorite, is getting some good builds in the back. Zayu is starting to expand already, getting some TCs planned and everything. So, and the siege workshops up front, castle in the middle to control his middle relic area. Zayu doing this right is going to be a question of if Favorite I mean, favors pop capped right now. Does he notice? Okay, house going up 3 does get on pop capped. But it's going to be a question of if the defensive play from favorite is good enough to survive. Is it Runestone's close to distance? This doesn't feel very close. I mean, closer than Arabia? Could be. This didn't feel like a very close map, Jen. I just view Runestones, because like back 3 years ago when I was first getting into DM, the consensus was Runestones is just better Arabia for DM specifically. So Shravamsaraj is in the back. Might finally find a villager kill. Actually, no. I mean, Zayu's gotten 5 villager kills now. That's huge. And the Elephant Archer's starting to mass up, and nothing really up yet. I mean, there's a Siege. Siege gonna land some nice shots. Once the Siege starts getting rolling, it might actually be a chance for Favorite to survive. But in the meantime, between Paladins and Halberdiers, he's gonna have to hold off this force of Zayu. Zayu needs the Bomber Cannons to come forward and start pressuring the buildings before the Bomber Cannons can really be established by Favorite. So yeah, it's a massive ball. But, I mean, that large ball of elephants is just asking to be hit by Andra shots, and is kind of hit. But they're going to be forced back, and Favorite still getting pop caps. Zayu really just free to expand behind this. The question is going to be, is Zayu running into the sharp defenses of Favorite too much and losing too many important units? Elephant Archer is going to be able to snipe maybe one of these Andras. Does take one of them down. Second one probably go down. Nice Elephant Archer micro. Cleans up a lot of these units. A lot of the problem with Teutons is the slow mobility and did not take a very good fight there. And Favorite is on the back foot once again, losing some units there. And the Elephant Ball from Zayu is still massively untouched mostly. I mean, you got a lot of HP loss in some of them. Maybe a Monk mix or two. Like, we have the Monastery up. Adding a Monk just to heal even before getting relics could be really helpful here with all the Elephants. Good shots landing on some of the Hussars. But yeah, it's just going to be some random shots onto the Elephants, micro here. And that is a lot of Siege Andras going to clear the way a little bit. And now it's looking like Favorite's kind of pushed back, but still significant eco difference. And you even see Zayu claiming some side map control, getting a castle on a random hill. Trebs now coming up with the Teutons to try to pressure this forward base. So I think Zayu had a good chance. He just didn't have any siege. Like, he had those bomber cannons. I don't know where all the bomber cannons they must have gotten sniped when he lost all those units. So probably all the bomber cannons got sniped. I'll have to double check, but I think that's because I did remember seeing Zayu having a bunch of bomber cannons, and so that's probably why the push hasn't really gotten any benefits. Is because all those they got sniped by the Paladins, and that just meant that there's no follow, like no real damage done, which Favorite defending very well from. Is impressive, but these trebuchets are a little bit exposed. The Paladin's going to land on these trebuchets and probably clean up a bunch of them. The Elephant are just trying to stop that from happening, but that's a lot of trebs down. The castle goes down, and now Favorite with his massive Teuton death ball is going to start pushing forward. There's still a lot of Elephant archers back here, but the Elephant archers probably aren't going to be killing things fast enough. So many siege archers coming forward. Treb's going to take out these forward siege positions, and we have to see raids in the back. Does Favorite notice this? A lot of villagers are dead. Is starting to garrison some of the villagers, but that's going to slow down his economy expansion. Still 30 villagers behind. So what you see with Favorite is kind of what you get. If he loses this army, he's going to not have a lot to be able to reinforce behind it. Has 100 Halberdiers in the queue. So he's going to be able to at least flood the infantry nonstop. These siege archers are starting to whittle down. Is getting some very good engagements here, and the Elephant Archer numbers are going down. And if defensive castle trying to go up, even though he's lost some ground, he's bomber cannons a little bit too far forward, is going to snipe the siege archers and fall back. So luckily, without any cavalry left for Favorite, he's not going to be able to push too hard into trying to snipe those bomber cannons. In the meantime, the Elephant Archers just chewing through these Halberdiers, and I mean, it's just so many Elephant Archers. Zayu, in the meantime, just hasn't really done as much expanding in eco as I would think. He's only up to 80 villagers, starting to get the farm eco going. So, hasn't really expanded to the corners or anything like that. And some big Andra shots are landing. It's pressuring another castle. This could be a second castle that Zayu is forced to defend and lose. But these elephants kind of all clumped up on the hill, which is a nice spot to be in. But a lot of infantry coming forward. The Siege Hunters are going to be there, and they hop in and out. Good micro from Zayu, that top tier little moving around, but huge shots. Cleans up so many Elephant Archers. Oh, this is going to be detrimental. That is a lot of HP loss on those elephants. All of them losing so much HP. And Favorite really, really looking good here. Zayu just not finding any damage. Shavams is coming in from the side, trying to sneak onto these Siege Hunters. May have taken one out, maybe taken two, but they all get nuked. And now the slow-moving Teuton Death Ball is moving forward, and Zayu just did not get anywhere near enough damage that he needed to during that advantage, and he just kept running his forces into the spiky Death Ball of Teuton. And because of that, Favorite was able to just sit back, mass up his army, and start slowly pushing forward. And unfortunately, Zayu just hasn't really had much results. I mean, again, if that monk had been healing these elephants, I feel like he'd be in a much better spot. He had to collect the relics. And even then, he's going to lose his middle control position. The villagers should probably come forward to try to establish a castle in the middle. And we even see the Teuton Castle trying to range this stable that's been randomly sending in Hussars, continuing to raid, which has been, annoying. But you see Favorite's economy is now up to 90. He's getting close to pop cap. Zayu overboomed too. Like, sure, he has all these elephants, but 130 villagers. A bit too much to be having. Shrivamsa is going to go on a raid. You can see some scorpions mixed in. Maybe a prediction, or just to try to deal with some of these elephant archers, try to get some more damage on them instead of having to worry about siege onagers. Maybe deal with some potential of infantry or something, but I don't know if I feel good about the scorpion ads. I mean, the onagers are doing so well, and you're controlling them so well from Favorite. So, and now we see some expansions onto the side golds. This area. Treb push on the side is going to be nice. We'll see if there's any actually reaction to this. And I mean, again, Teutons, very slow, aren't going to be able to really reinforce this too much. Villagers are going to come over here and try to repair it and delay that. In the meantime, we see some Shrivamsas trying to engage on the siege onagers. Do get maybe one, but they do not. They run into this pointy spikes of the halberdiers of the Teuton player. And another one does go down by the cost of several shots onto those elephant archers. The elephant archers start massing up again. We got 45 of them for Zayu, but this Teuton army is still pushing into it, and Zayu really, I think Zayu's army is better for for being the aggressor and having the other team push into them. But being pushed back with this is just not. Shrivamsas can't really get any good engagements here, and just the halberdiers swarm and the Teuton knights just camping the hell out of these siege onagers, preventing them from being attacked. Shrivamsa might a little bit overexposed. The halberdiers need to go and help. One Shrivamsa is going to get there. Okay, Scorpions are able to defend a little bit, but Favorite looking very much in the driver's seat now, clearing up this middle area. And, I mean, that's still a massively scary elephant archer ball. That's a lot of them. And they're low on health. They're at a third of, only 2/3 health. Castle's gonna start getting pressured. I mean, I'm surprised Favorite has just let this kind of continue to push into him. He hasn't really been able. I mean, you are pushing hard and Teutons are slow, so you can't really afford to leave your death ball. But now he's sending some paladins over here to try to clean this up. But there's camels here to protect against it. This has been a problem. Like, he's losing farm, lost TC, lost a bunch of villagers. So Zayu finding the damage where he needs to keep this game alive. But this middle death ball is so tough to deal with. He's sending half the halberdiers up there. That's what I think should have happened quite a bit ago. Those camels are too far forward and getting killed by these castles. And the halberdiers are going to come over here. Why Zayu noticing this and taking his trebuchets away, try to keep them alive. And has at least, made Favorite's expansion not free. But this push in the middle is so hard to deal with. Like, yeah, there's so many elephant archers here, but it's almost like a curse in a way. Because the elephant archers, as good as they are, you're just not finding the damage you need with this army. And they've just been sitting there doing nothing. It's one of those things where it's like, you can have a cool army, but if the army isn't doing anything, you're not going to be getting any value from it. And so it's just like, it's a waste of an army slot, right? And so these units getting some nice raids on this left side. So the Favorite struggling a little bit to keep his economy protected. But I mean, 2 castles here are going to clean this up. Has a bunch of villagers saved. Halberdiers attacking over here and expanding this. So yeah, it's if you're not fighting with the army, you may as well not have an army. Sure, it's Cold War trying to prevent anything from happening, but it is so much like if you're just posturing with these elephants while they pick away with these trebs, you're just gonna get out. You're just not generating any value from these elephant archers. So that's kind of the problem with having such a slow unit composition to defend with, is you can't really try to gain any advantage anywhere. So this has been mostly cleaned up. One Hussar still picking away, but this area is going to get taken out by this middle army. Now it's positioned over here. Once that castle goes down, Zayu loses all map control, and now the elephants are forced to engage. Bomber Cannon trying to get forward to try to snipe some of the trebs and trying to split the army up, but very good army control from Favorite, keeping the halberdiers in front of the elephant archers, and the onagers close enough to be able to land some nice shots. Those elephant archers not the best in microing and will get hit horribly. Bomber Cannon is going to find some nice shots here. The Bomber Cannons could be taking out these trebs. And now they're shift positions. And yeah, the Bomber Cannons are going to probably take out these trebs. Good micro from... Favorite's just hitting things. But takes out one of the trebs. but has lost a lot of his units' health. Down to 6,000 health. And, I mean, the death ball has not been impacted. A lot of resources banked for favorite, and his production is starting to go down. Zayu losing a lot here. Zayu just needs to clean the push. Yeah. It's going to be tough. I mean, the Scorpion's going to do a lot of damage here, just because, you know, splash damage in 80 form against elephants is kind of the name of the game. I mean, this is not the worst engagement. No, there's still too many halberdiers. He's being pushed back enough, more and more. I mean, only down to 2-3 trebs, so not going to be losing ground quite as much, but these elephant archers just too slow to, like, actually try to do hit and runs or anything. No raids coming up once that expansion in the north got cleared up. See some we see some stables on the side, so we might see Zayu try to do some raids on this left side. There is some hope there, but Teuton's just kind of running in here with some Teuton Knights. Some good Hussar raids on the side. Maybe took out a couple siege heavy units, but Teuton suck post gold. I mean, there's still so much gold though. And I mean, yeah, I mean, these elephant archers are trying to mass up, and they're getting really good engagement on these siege archers. There's no meat shield to deal with this. I don't know where the halberdiers went, but they got nuked. So, might have been some friendly fire, but these elephant archers starting to get some damage, starting to clean up some of these siege archers that have been causing so much problems. There's a few more coming in the reinforcements. That is a lot of units lost for Zayu. Not a lot of gold for Zayu to reboom with, or repopulate with. So, elephant archers starting to go down. So, the trades are pretty solid. Favorite still maxed out, still maintaining pop control, getting some decent attacks over here, has some Teuton raids, and it's just going to be, like Otter's saying, is... these elephants, I know you can't waste them, but you got to get some value with them in some way, and he just keeps getting pushed into these corners. Now he's in a clustered area. These siege archers are going to land some nice shots, but they're going very far forward. If he had some hussars or something to raid right now and get in there, he could, but they're all clustered, and they're just losing all this HP, and the archers are raining balls out, and there's the hussars. A moment too late, all the elephants go down, and Zayu has to tap out. Those hussar needed to be a few minutes, like 30 seconds earlier. If those hussars were over here and came in earlier, wipes out all the siege onagers, there's a chance. It wasn't a good chance. It was a good chance. It was a good game. All right. So favorite takes it up 2-1 so far. Pretty solid set. Yeah, I mean, I think it was just... So I do want to check one thing, actually, because I missed this. Where were the bombard cannons? It was here. Yeah, so, like, we know Zayu had a bunch of bombard cannons here, right? And there's some big engagement. Yeah, here. Okay, so it's right here. Paladins come in and try to snipe them. And there's no infantry to deal with these. So the Paladins are going all in on taking out these bomber cannons, and the elephants make a lot of noise. But oh wow, yeah. So this is what saved favorite at the start, wiping out all the bomber cannons. Yeah, okay. There's still one over here, but that is a huge. That's why he sacrificed. Yeah. So okay, I was confused because I saw those bomber cannons, and was very confused because I was like, Zayu is good enough to know that he needs siege to help push this, and he had the 5 bomber cannons and was ready to push into it. But such a good pick off from favorite. So. Okay, give me 1 second. I am actually going to... Yeah, I'll mute Discord. The problem is I have stream mode on Discord, but that's on my stream PC, not on my game PC. So, I can fix that real quick. You can just deafen, right? And that shouldn't give me any notifications. Stream mode. Okay. Cool. Stream mode is enabled. That should help new to that. Cool. Once again, well, first let me set this up. We just had, Teutons versus Was it Gujaras? Yes, Gujaras with a. I'm totally blanking on that. Okay, so next map, Akure. It's going to be Akure, chosen by Zayu after losing the favorite. So I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. I need to go to the bathroom again. I think I'm like 3 pitchers of water deep today out of all the casting. So give me another minute or so. That's not the one I wanted. I didn't want to open Spotify. But I am overhydrated, let's put it that way. I have a sore throat. I've had a cough for the past 2 months, so it's been a little bit rough there. So I've had to extra hydrate, and I'll be right back. So I'd love to hear what people's thoughts are on Akure. Alright, I am back. Sorry for the delay. When I was with Ted Nugent. Ted Nugent would get me copyright strike, I'm sure. I don't think Ted Nugent is a very welcoming of modern day economics when it comes to streaming. Hi. Hi, you can come in here. Just, sit down when you need to. What's the final map? This is game 4. Oh, the final map. So it's Akure now, and then it'll be Aftermath. It's the final one. So Akure. I think it's gonna be Bulgarians or humans. I think it's Bulgarians because I've seen that a lot. And then Georgians, I guess. Maybe Romans. I can see. My guess is Bulgarians, Romans. That's gonna be my guess. That'll be my guess. All right. We're in. I'll do one more cough drop. Otherwise, my stomach's gonna start. Any more is gonna kill me. Bulgarian versus Japan. I can see that. Yeah, I think Bullocks are... What do you... Hey, no, you do not get to be there. No, 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 you do not get to stand on my monitors. No, no. You don't get to be there. Hey, no, no, you're going out. You're not being here. Nope, nope, we are not having this. Absolutely not. You are not on my desktops. No. Out. Absolutely not. You're cooking because I did the reasonable one. That's fair. Ace can be around my desktops, but on top of the monitors where the airflow is and taking care of that, that's not good for my PCs. We're not having that. All right. Sorry for the delay. Let us get into game number 4 on Akare. All right. Welcome one and all to game number 4. Favorite having a 2-1 lead has picked the Japanese, and in the red, Zayu playing the Cumans. We'll see what the play is from both of them. We see a lot of stables coming out for Zayu, and we see the barracks coming out in response for Favorite. Going to grab both of these castles. Do either of them go for the petards? Yeah, we see the petard coming out on one side for Favorite, and maybe on the other one, Elite Samurai. So it might just take a little bit more time, but it's going to be Samurai versus Humans. So a little bit interesting. We see the Step Lancer rush already coming in. So need to get the Halberdiers out quick and fast. And getting that first one turned away is pretty nice, but the Step Lancer rush is going to be brutal. Do we see Kipchaks being added into? We do, and they're going to try to help take down the walls, but the Step Lancer rush is going to be a pain to deal with. Favorite, of course, does have the micro to be able to deal with it, but Halberdiers need to come out fast. Has the houses already to help deal with that, so it's going to be very nice, but already has found 3 eco kills, so that's a huge amount of kills for Zayu. Maybe not as many as he needs, but it's going to do some good damage, and the Samurai is not going to do as great a job against the Step Lancers, so needs some more barracks out. Needs a castle up pretty quickly, and gets it up, because that'll help a lot pushing this early rush away, but did Zayu find the damage he needed? Has not built any houses, so a little bit of pop cap. Is starting to build the houses now. But the Kipchaks not being involved. Kipchaks still trying to fire the arrows. Having them come through would be a little bit helpful. It's all about that siege push? Yeah, but I mean, this is some good engagements. I mean, gonna lose a lot of Step Lancers here. And I think Zayu wants to back up and not really push the issue anymore. Having lost the chance of getting much of a rush. Needs to take those 3 kills to the bank. Needs to really benefit from them and establish control in the middle. Gets the castle down right away. And we'll see what the plan is after that. And Samurai gonna do some very good engagements here. Step Lancers, though, very powerful clumped up. So, but it's full infantry from them. Needs to get some Kipchaks going in and involved in the mix to deal with these infantry. And this looks like a pretty bad fight, all things considered. It's gonna be a lot of units lost for Favorite. Favorite down 50 military right now. Does have some decent production, but that is an expensive loss. Trebuchet is going to land some shots on these Step Lancers, but the Step Lancers are going to go and try to take out these expensive Trebuchets. And Favorite's being pushed back, and even though the initial Step Lancer raid didn't really do much, besides kill a few villagers, now it's very tough for Favorite to try to establish any sort of army control or anything. And so Zayu once again falling back, needs to get the siege back up, needs to get that forward castle up, needs to start really pressuring these buildings in order for Favorite to actually have, to be pushed into a problem. But now with this castle up, and the Halberdiers surrounding it, it's going to be hard for Zayu to really maintain this forward position. I expect this castle to get cancelled. I don't think it should be tried. And I think Zayu might agree and just kind of back off and try to build up a siege behind it. We see a castle, or even a TC up north. Just to get that gold and try to get a monastery up there. And now a big fight in the middle. Step Lancers engaged again, and Paladins engaged against the Halberdiers. Not the really engagement you want to be until you get overwhelming numbers. And they're going to be able to take those overwhelming numbers. That costs a lot of those units. Now the Step Lancers coming in the backside, going to take out the Cav Archers and the Trebuchets and some Siege, and very good engagement from Zayu, taking out some very expensive gold units and forcing Favorite back into engagements under the castle. And takes out some Siege, keeps the push delayed from Favorite. So Favorite needs to rebuild up those siege units and try to be able to push back in the middle. And that gives Zayu time to establish a bit more of a foothold in the Central River. Maybe get a dock or 2 down. But for the most part, get some Trebs up and start ranging some of these TCs and castles from the north side. And that might even just take out that TC right away. So a little bit, little nice problem. And he's going to be able to range the castle from there. So that's a very nice... Well, just one of them. Two of them. So might be able to take out one of the castles. And kind of forces favorite to engage. And he's going to engage. And all the Halberdiers have been chewed up by the Kip checks. So the early aggression from Zayu is starting to pay off. Still double the villager count. Is forcing him back. Get some good engagement. This Trebs is kind of free to rain terror on this castle on the north side. Those Cav Archers are starting to cause some problems. And, I mean, with the siege kind of there, even though it's only one siege onager, it kind of keeps Zayu from engaging too much. Now we have a Treb War, and we'll see who wins. I mean, that was a really good first range. I mean, the Japanese Trebs being able to set up so fast means that it's pretty solid there. So, I mean, and now the Cav Archers there, and Zayu just lets the Trebs die, which, sure, I almost would have just rather they all just focus on trying to take out that castle. I think we could have taken out that castle for just those 5 Trebs. That would have been such a better trade than trying to take out the Treb War. But... And now the Treb's going to start pressuring this castle. The military from Zayu, not really where it needs to be. And Favorite has jumped to 130 military. Very low eco, but massive, massive military numbers. Just all these Halberdiers spammed out, all the Cav Archers, and a couple Trebs. And one Siege Onager that has honestly kind of been the MVP of just scaring away the forces of Zayu. In the meantime, Zayu continuing to try to build his economy, try to establish it, but now the Cav Archers can come forward and finding some good engagement. Castle is going to push them away a little bit as the Halberdiers try to take up some of the fire. But once these Trebs move forward and take out that castle, I mean, there's 2 castles here, which is very nice to help defend. And so now we're going to pressure this, but it is only 1 Treb, so it's not going to do all that much damage. In the meantime, the relics have been stolen by Zayu. But they are in this very exposed monastery, so at some point, Favorite could push into that. But Andre is going to land some nice shots on the humans. Siege Andre is going to land some very good shots. And the Halberdier is going forward and just full send. Going to take out these Trebs, going to take out this castle. And Favorite realizes he has a military advantage. He's going to just push into this. And then kind of fall back a little bit once all the Halberdiers die. But takes out the castle. And now it's just Cav Archers against Kipchaks and some... handful of sound, but now these Siege Onagers coming in from the flank, take a nice shot and hit some Cav Archers. Gets another one there, so those Onagers getting some good value. And now the Steplancers are going to go forward and try to snipe some of the siege, but they're going to have to be pushed back. The villagers are repairing the castle. The Trebs are going to come forward and counter-Treb that Treb. And 5 against 1, I don't think that Treb's going to survive. And down it goes. And so now Favorite can kind of push in the middle without having to worry too much about it. And starting to expand the eco at home, get the farm eco going. Favorite doing a very good job of transitioning into the middle-late game. I mean, the relics is going to be very nice for Zayu. Not super important right now, but if you can reposition him back into his back of his base, it might be a little bit safer. That might take a little bit too much micro and not be worth the effort. This castle's going to go down. That castle being lost means there's no castles. I mean, there's a castle on the south side and all the starting castle. That's a very exposed open front area for Zayu. It's going to be very hard with the Trebs and the castle builds for his Favorite to really push far forward into this. Cav Archer's going to keep microing against Kipchaks, and the Trebuchet is going to explode land, but now the Siege Onagers are coming forward. Treb's trying to take out a few of them, takes out 1, takes out 2, the castle's going to take out a 3rd, and that's half the Siege Onagers kind of going down, but he's forcing the units away in the south, and these Siege Onagers are scary, and now the Paladins are going to be able to go engage onto these Trebuchets that are exposed. Japanese Trebs trying to land and unpack and repack and everything. And this is just a bad fight from Favorite. Zayu taking a very good fight. Losing a lot of his units, and a lot of his Siege Onagers are down. But does take out the Trebs, and the Rams are going to push his castle. And there's still a lot of military left for Zayu. And I mean, it's all Cav Archers for Favorite, which is still fine, but it's nothing to really deal with these Rams. So they're going to be able to take out this castle. And no siege really backed up for the Japanese to be able to help deal with this push. So he's going to lose a lot of these Kipchaks to try to take out this castle. And I mean, it is going, but... actually, will it actually be taken down? Does pop the villagers out, so the villagers are going to get cleaned up. The castle stays up. No, you got to go clean that up. All right. Zayu getting some extra castle shots onto his units, which is kind of a mistake. Does take the castle down in the long run, and the Rams pushing on the top side. Halberdiers are going to go clean that up, though. So Favorite kind of weathering the storm here. The Ram push, very nice, but not really... I mean, it's going to keep going forward. The Siege Onagers and Rams are going to be very tough to deal with. Kipchak's going to be able to handle some of these Halberdiers as long as they're in small numbers. But the Rams definitely causing problems with these heavy Cav Archers. They are going to clean it up with some Samurai support. But Zayu has, from how bad of a position he looked in for a second, has managed to crack back and establish kind of middle map control again. So these Siege Launchers putting in a lot of work. Only 3 kills on them, but he's lost a lot of them. But it definitely scares the unit composition of Favorite. So both of them kind of sitting back right now. Both popping up to hit 200. Hussar's going to maybe try to go get some raids on these gold, but the Cav Archers are there to deal with that. Hussar's likely just going to run by and try to find some economy. Not going to find any on this north side. We'll find the monasteries, and we actually see some emergency house walls coming up from Favorites, which is a very smart play, but he's not going to get them down in time. No, okay, so the Hussars get through, and the Cav Archers are going to go for a chase, and this is going to open up the front for Zayu to rush in with some Paladins and Kipchak, snipe a Treb, maybe snipe a second one. There's only a handful of Cav Archers here. The Paladin's not noticing the second Treb sneaking away. Does snipe one Treb, push the other one back for now, so buys himself a little bit of time. Needs his own Treb to start pressuring this castle along the hill. But right now, the raids in the back, definitely finding some good kills. Zayu has 34 ego kills from all of this. And Favorite, who was even with Zayu for economy, is down to 97. This is a great game, but, I mean, the Trebs are a little bit late, a little too few against this Japanese castle. And so it's up to Zayu to really defend against this push. If you could take out the castle, you could actually engage on these Trebs a little bit more. Instead, he's forced to wait for his siege launchers to come forward, and this is going to be the castle going down with 4 Trebs taking it and only 4 villagers. You need way more villagers. Villagers going forward for Zayu run to their doom, which is actually not the worst idea because he's at 140 vills, which is too many. Takes a good engagement down here, cleans up a lot of the halberdiers, and forced for the Japanese Trebs to quickly pack up and run. The Ram's going to come forward, and this castle might actually be taken down, even though it's only 1 Treb with Rams coming forward. No infantry, halberdiers coming in reinforcements, but there's plenty of Kipchaks here to deal with that. Paladin's going to try to engage onto those siege launchers, take one out, or regular launchers, takes one out, takes maybe the second a little bit micro here would be nice. He's not microing. Okay, there it goes. The Rams are going to be able to take out this castle with the Treb support. And so Zayu finding a really good engagement here does have a chance to kind of push into this Ram. Oh, almost lands a nice shot with the Onagers. And that castle stays up long enough to snipe one of those Onagers. Could even get the second one. No micro from that. Takes out the castle, and now it's forced to tuck tail and flee. But taking out the castle, taking out a bunch of units there. Very nice from Zayu, though now Favorite has the military advantage. You still see the kind of aggression, or the base up here. Still, relics still in an unsafe spot. Is he actually moving them? How does he only have 2 relics? There has to be another monastery. Yeah, okay, so he is moving them. Excellent. Really well played, Zayu. Moving those relics down into the safe area. That is fantastic to see that he had the wherewithal to think of that. But now they're just going to dance a little bit, mass up their armies, try to get their siege in position. Samurai are going to try to engage against Paladin. It's not the engagement you want. And villagers going down south, trying to steal some of this gold, but going to find it already populated. Though these villagers are doing a long haul to get the gold. I don't know if Favorite's aware that his villagers are down there getting that gold, because there's no mining camp. So, nope, Favorite notices, sets up the trebuchets, takes out the mining camp, and will probably establish his own mining camp there in a second or two. But the Paladins are coming in the middle, and this push on the kind of top side is something Favorite has to deal with. Doesn't want to clean that, at least cleans up the mining, so it's not going to be free mining for him. But this is a tough push to deal with. Those Onagers getting a little too close to the castle, though. We'll lose one of them, 2 of them. So, a little bit of a sloppy play there. And the Rams are going to try to push this castle on the hill, open up this north side of the base, make it very tough for Favorite to push out of there, and could even try to establish his own position on this hill. And Cav Archers are going to be here to try to stop this, but I mean, Cav Archers are not going to be the unit you want to deal with to stop a Ram push. So, unfortunately, I think that castle is about to go down, and that's going to be a nice defensive piece lost by Favorite. So Zayu finding some good stuff here. And now the Halberdiers coming in here to try to get some raids, but also stop the mining. Zayu pretty insistent on trying to take these middle resources, which is smart. I'd love to see a castle or 2 here, just maintain map control. Castle goes down, Rams trying to run away, may as well save the gold units, but they do not get saved. Season Andra is kind of exposed, but nothing really to punish that from Favorite. Paladins aren't in the position. We see a big engagement here. Halberdier is going to get some decent trades, but there's too many Cav units there to win that fight, and these villagers are going to get killed, and that castle is going to get doubted. Cav Arch is still massive balls, so that's very dangerous army to deal with. And chases the army away, so that castle might still yet go up. But like a lot of Rams waiting in response, a lot of infantry, or a lot of Cav coming in. Nice shot from the Trebs, going to land a few shots on these units and get some free kills. But engaging into this Cav Archer ball is going to be very tough. Onagers need to land some good shots, and they're not really in the best position to do so. They're starting to creep forward, and he could land a shot, but the Treb snipe, huge, takes out one of the two Onagers. The Onagers really the key to winning this fight. The Onagers not being microed and needs to land a shot on these Cav Archers, but no, it's not shooting. He's taking out one of the Trebs, and there it goes. And now the infantry is starting to come forward. The Rams are going to really do some good damage here. Only Cav Archers remain, meaning that the Rams have free will to just destroy whatever's in their path. Halberdiers coming forward, and we actually even see a raid. There's some samurai raids on the top side. Finds a monastery with 2 relics. We'll be able to clean that up a little bit, maybe steal them back. But this ram push in the middle is very tough for Favorite to deal with. We see a raid on the bottom left. Maybe they're just gonna go run into the castle and die. But Favorite has pushed back, but has lost quite a few infrastructure buildings there. And yeah, 2 relics exposed. We actually even see Zayu rebuilding the monastery. Probably just make the monks to try to send them back home. Zayu identifying this is going to probably be a longer game and really wants to protect these relics and really get them. So I think that's going to be his play. And if that's the case, he is doing a fantastic job of trying to secure the relics. See some halberdiers trying to raid. And we actually see some buildings go down in the middle. And Cav Archers and Samurai are going to start pushing in the middle. Those Japanese Trebs continue to be annoying. And going to start pressuring the front of the base as Zayu's kind of split his army up into a bunch of different areas to try to secure a bunch of different stuff. Secures gold on the top side, secures the relics, monks being made to try to escort those relics. Some halberdier raids going here and there, but for the most part, I think Zayu's trying to really expand, take advantage of the map control and the fact that he has the relics, and Favorite does not. Huge Hussar raid in the back, nothing here to defend against it besides a castle or 2. The wall's not up in time, and these Hussars are going to land into the back area of Favorite and take a lot of villagers down. Eco KD up to over 100. Just massive raids. Fight in the middle is going to be tough for him to deal with, but he loses the Trebs in the middle as well. Incredible engagement from Zayu. And the Samurai going forward and taking out a bunch of these Siege Launchers. So even though it isn't a great engagement, losing those Siege Launchers is tough, but does have the relics. Needs to send the relics home. Stealing the gold down there. Favorites continue to pose some tough questions, but I mean, these Hussar raids have just been massive. 130 eco kills. Gets cleaned up, but that definitely causes some problems. I mean, it opens up some pop space for Favorite, who is pop capped. Hussar's going to go in and try to do this same engagement, but the halberdiers are already there. Might be able to get some kills here, but it's going to be tough. And yeah, the monks starting to sneak away with that relic. And getting some good fights here. I mean, that is a castle down. That is a siege workshop down. That is a lot of Cav Archers still in play for Favorite. Even though Zayu looks like he has the map control, this massive Cav Archer ball is tough to deal with. Even though Zayu has the relics, has some of the gold income, he just does not have enough gold units right now to deal with this Cav Archer ball. He has the Siege Launchers, but needs to land some good shots, and Favorite has been microing just well enough to avoid any of those major Siege Launcher shots. He's going to land a shot, get some good hits there. Maybe another one. Oh, this is going to be very important. He needs to make sure not to lose his Cav Archer. Oh, he's losing so many Cav Archers here. You cannot afford to lose this many Cav Archers, Favorite. Does snipe the Siege Launchers. A couple more in the back, and the Paladin's going to come in here. Losing, needs to keep his Cav Archers alive. If the Cav Archers go down, Favorite is out of this game. But as long as he has the Cav Archers, it's going to be very tough for Zayu to push into it with low gold. I mean, Favorite has no more gold income, has 1,500 in the bank, which is quite a bit. But Zayu, out low on gold, needs to land those Siege Launcher shots. Is securing the last relic, so that's very nice to see. And he's got to know he has all the relics, too. So it's... Halberdier's getting some good hits on these Siege Launchers. Might be able to snipe 1 or 2. The... Snipes 1. Snipes a 2nd, even. So some good finds from Zayu. Or from Favorite. And Favorite continue to force an issue, though. The Rams coming forward and distracting these Cav Archers. And, I mean, the Trebs need to run away. And oh, big shot from the Siege Launchers. Samurai going to try to engage on these Siege Launchers. Okay, so a couple Siege Launchers do go down, which is very nice. Oh no, saves them. I mean, these... Nope, he saved those Siege Launchers. That's huge. I almost even want a micro villager to go repair them all. That would be huge to save those guys. Still some raids. There's still gold piles down here. That's huge. But this gold unabated is very nice for Zayu, though. I would love to see a TC here to just fully flesh out that gold. Engagement's still happening in the middle. Anger's starting to build up. Anger's still starting to build up, and that's going to be a problem for Favorite going forward. Favorite has a military advantage. Zayu low on military, but, I mean, a massive ball of Cav Archers versus a lot of Siege Launchers is a tough fight to win. So Halberdier is going to engage with some Cav Archer backup and clean up some of these Hussars. Trying to get some good split micro. It's going to be a very micro-intensive battle. Loses a ram, but chases away the Halberdiers. And Andre's going to come forward, try to land a shot. That is a huge shot. Huge. Bad micro instance. I mean, it was just one of those repaths where they kind of all clump together. That's a massive one. Because C also are stable up here or something, stealing some gold. So Zayu doing really well about maintaining map control and just bleeding the resources where he can. But has lost a lot on the front of his base. Has a massive economy in the back, though. 73 on farms. But these Halberdiers are continuing to pose problems. These Halberdiers kind of get to those Siege Challengers where they shouldn't have. And takes one, maybe two. That is a lot of gold use you cannot afford to lose. Favorite pushing hard in the top side. Sending the Cav Archers all the way to the north. They're out of position, so Zayu has a chance to maybe do some damage in the middle, but those Cav Archers are going to pose a problem. But there's not a lot up here. There's a castle. There's some farm eco. There's not a lot. There's one Siege Challenger. But Favorite's going to think twice and fall back. And the Treb's kind of just in a weird spot. I don't know where Favorite wants to push. In the meantime, the army from Zayu is starting to kind of build up in the middle a little bit, but Zayu needs more military. It has 130 in pop, and it's going to be a question. I think Favorite's plan is to push this castle on the hill, take it down, and that's going to expose this top economy, which is actually very, very vulnerable. There's no castles. There's one castle here. There's no more castles for Zayu, so if this castle goes down, there's a lot of exposed economy, whereas the Favorite has so much castles still protecting all of his eco. So that is kind of the way Zayu can lose this game pretty handily, is his eco is going to just get absolutely raided by these Cav Archers. Does have the relic secured, and right now Zayu is struggling to rebuild his army. Just doesn't have, even with 76 on farms, he's just not able to pop back up. He's down to 50 pop, and these Cav Archers are going to start raiding these villages, and he needs to use the food for the villagers to repopulate them. He needs to get some more for Hussars, and it's just going to cause some problems. Nice Andra shot. Might clean this up. Yeah, so the Andra does a great job of cleaning up that raid. But, I mean, more are going to come. And right now, Zayu has this army in the middle, but that's still so many Cav Archers. He's generated so much damage with these Cav Archers. I'd love to see 81 kills from those Cav Archers. I mean, yeah. Undefended eco, yeah. I mean, one Cav Archer is going to come in here and camp. We do see a defensive castle from Zayu. So, Zayu aware that he is very vulnerable up here. That defensive castle is going to do a great job of protecting his woodline and his farms, but it's still so undefended compared to Favorites. And Favorite has been pop capped, has a bit of a resource bank, has 44 Halberdiers in the queue to repop at any time. So we see some kip checks, and I don't know, these Halberdiers just happen to get some random like Siege Challenger pickoffs, and that's just been huge this entire time for Favorite. Again, there's all these resources over here that Zayu knows about and hasn't been contesting. I think this is a huge whiff from him. He could have put a TC here, really overpopulated this, gotten a lot of gold. He's starting to send some Hussars to continue to raid, but there's just so much gold there for the taking, and Zayu hasn't capitalized on it very much. Siege Challengers getting a little bit exposed. I mean, with some good micro, those Cav Archers could snipe all of them. So we'll see what Zayu does, but the military is starting to even out. Zayu needs to get pop capped again. Is down on military, has lost a lot, and we actually see some raids in the back. I've missed this. Oh man, massive light Cav raves in the back. Just destroying villagers left and right. No reaction from Zayu. His woodline has crumbled down to 11 woodline. 48 on food. Losing them consistently. He is focused too much microing in the middle. Has no idea his economy has been destroyed. And it keeps getting worse. He has not responded at all to this. I don't know if he can. Like, there's no villagers in any of the TCs. Oh, Zayu. Losing all of these villagers. I mean, we see some raids already prepped up. There might be a hole over here, not sure if there is. Fight in the middle is kind of just whatever right now. It's kind of posturing. We see more villagers going over here, and Favorite doing the right thing and taking his opponent's gold that has been taken. There's just so much gold free on the map that's still available this late into a game. Oh, that's a very unfortunate shot. That was Paladins and Hussars for a single light cav. And finally, Hussars coming back home to try to repair some of this economy and save some of his units. But that is so much eco damage that Favorite was able to get. He was at, I think, like 10 to 20 eco kills, and now he's up to 100. And because of this, Favorite is able to take this moment and pounce with some of the military in the back and take some good engagements. But, I mean, he's going to lose a lot of his foot soldiers over there. Did take out quite a few Siege Challengers, down to 4 Siege Challengers. So that's kind of where Favorite is focusing. He's just trying to pick up these Siege Challengers. He knows He can't afford to lose his gold units. He still has some gold on the map. Still has 15 gold miners. Has 3,000 in the bank. But he has 0 relics. So he knows that he is on a timer. If this goes into wood, he is 5-0 on relics. He's going to lose the wood game in the long run. But some decent engagement. Cleans up the siege hunters. That is a huge find for Favorite. That is huge. No more siege hunters means Favorite has a little bit more freedom to just engage where he wants. Doesn't have to worry about a random siege hunter shot. There is one coming in reinforcements, but I think this game's starting to slip away from Zayu. Down to 38 military. Doesn't have the resources. Has lost so many villages. Has to reboom a little bit. Get the defensive castle in the back. Those are farmers that aren't farming right now. And now starting to push forward. And these Trebs are left exposed. Halberdier is going to come forward and take out these Rams. Take out these Trebs. Cav Archers starting to really prove their value. Kipchak's trying their best to try to take them down. But over 110 kills on these heavy Cav Archers. The Trebs stay alive. But I mean, losing so much army. Zayu's down to 20 military. 54 military villagers from Zayu. Did Zayu, your favorite, just like wipe his eco? Or did he get raided? It might have gotten raided. There's some corpses. Yeah, so Zayu's eco KD is huge. So we missed a raid. We'll go back and check that. So he's down on a lot of eco, but has a massive military advantage right now. Now the Trebs start coming in and start taking out these buildings. And the Halberdiers chase away all the units from Zayu. Zayu losing a lot of his military. Doesn't have the siege onagers anymore. Doesn't have the Kipchaks. Is stuck mostly down to Hussars, which are not going to be very good against the Cav Archers and Halberdiers. 55 villas and 100 army. Yeah, it's wild. And Zayu only has 80 villagers and 20 army. This game keeps getting more insane. Yeah, we missed another, and there's another Hussar raid. Yeah, I think it was an overchop. Oh, overchop into a Hussar raid. Yeah, I remember he had a massive group of Hussar up there. So that's probably what happened. Is probably just a massive raid there. Now we see the light Cavs on the south side. He can clean up by the Hussars, but this is allowing the middle area to just be pushed in heavily. A lot of production buildings are going to go down here. And the Cav Archer balls just continue to be untouched. And Zayu struggling, losing more and more ground, losing more and more production buildings, returning into a wood game. And the gold on the south side is taken from Zayu, no longer there. Still has the harassment buildings. But this gold, I can't believe Zayu never took this gold. There's so much gold there. I mean, not anymore, because Favorite's taking it all. And now we see Favorite going for the dagger, that castle on the hill. If he's able to establish that, it's going to be very hard to push out of that. And it's going to allow Favorite to push into the base even more. But this massive ball of Hussars and Kipchaks is going to cause some problems in this front side, but there's no siege to back it up. And kind of Favorite's just able to freely attack this. Favorite not worried too much about this. With no siege backing it up, that attack isn't going to do any damage. So Favorite just continues to content to stay clustered with his Trebs and continue to raise the base of Zayu. And the Treb on the hill going to take out this castle. Force is starting to go forward. Zayu needs to find a very good engagement here, but he is half army pop. Like, he is so much smaller army than Favorite. And also Favorite still has all these Cav Archers. So it's going to be very hard for Zayu to engage. And I mean, it is on Zayu to find the engagement because he doesn't have the Treb. Like, Favorite has the Trebs. So they say the ball's in Zayu's court, and the court is getting smaller and smaller by the second. Yeah, like, Favorite doesn't even have to push with the Cav Archers. He just has to hang back, let the Trebs do all the work. This is looking pretty grim for Zayu. No raids anymore. I mean, Favorite has kind of repopped up to 70 villagers, and this castle is going up, and that's going to be so bad. All these farms unpopulated. This is looking grim. Without that southern gold, the raid wins, you think? Yeah. I'm excited to go back and see the raid that I missed. Big engagement in the middle. I mean, not too big. Like, Zayu's just trying to find some damage, but these Halberdiers just chilling here are going to clean up these Hussars. And I don't know. Zayu's trying to get some military numbers, and I mean, Favorite's pop capped at 127 military. Usually not where you want to be with, you want a little bit more military, but with so many gold units, you may as well, and then just so many Halberdiers are going to clean this up. There's no engaging into this. I mean, there's siege onagers. But even if he manages to wipe out all these, I mean, that's a different story, but you got 1,800 in the bank across the board. You got 5 relics for Zayu, sure. But just, oh, this gold. Finally realizing that this gold is being taken. And yeah, Zayu pings and says, oh, this makes sense. Probably wondering where all the gold was coming from. Yeah. Zayu realizing he made a mistake here. And now the Halberdiers just destroying the economy going forward. I mean, this is a big army here. Siege Onagers could make something happen. Needs to stop worrying about killing the farms and maybe take out some more buildings. But that's a big army. But there's no, again, there's no siege to back this up. So it's with so many castles in the bases, like, I don't really see anything that Zayu can do with this army. And we're seeing raids. The Halberdier raid is going to get cleaned up, which is unfortunate because Favorite's losing a lot of military. But yeah, Halberdiers continue to protect the farms at home. A lot of Hussars. Hussars are great, but I mean, you can only do so much against a massive, untouched ball of Cav Archers. Mostly untouched, but yeah, the Trebs are going to shut up shop back here. Zayu's doing a pretty decent job of trying to expand his economy down here. He's going to be able to steal another 263 gold, which is, you know, not nothing, but Cav Archer's going to come in here. That might be a bit of an overextend. I mean, yeah, Favorite pulls back. Doesn't really, Favorite does not need to push any issue. Favorite can just kind of chill and just slowly whittle away at the base. He doesn't have to worry too much about anything. Going to clean up these stables in the south. And it's going to be, I think, a slow death. Going to start stealing some stone in the middle. And just, you know, play safe. And destroy all these buildings. Make Zayu rebuild them. And his economy is going to be very spread thin along this back area. Doesn't need to figure out where the relics are. I think that is definitely what Favorite can't ignore. Oh god. Oh, that's a huge shot. 15 Cav Archers dead. He did need something like that. He needed a little bit more than that, but that is a huge find. Free 15 Cav Archers dead is going to make it a little bit easier. We can't lose the kip checks. Yeah, Favorite pushed the issue a little bit too much. Needs the Halberdiers there just to kind of, you know, poke and prod and see where things are. Just make sure that the Cav Archers don't get hit by the... Because, like, really, the game comes down to if Zayu can land a shot and take out half of these Cav Archers, he could probably hold. But there's a bunch of aggression on the bottom side from Halberdiers. And we see the dance coming up here. Big raid in the south. Yeah, it's all Halberdiers. I mean, there's not a lot here. There's a castle here to still defend against it. But Zayu's still struggling to deal... Like, Zayu needs to clean this up. That's where his focus needs to be. If he has the opportunity to get an Andre shot, he needs to be paying attention. So it's hard to focus anywhere down here. But he's kind of pop cap, trying to get some houses up. And tries to take the engagement. Is going to snipe maybe a Trebuchet with these Hussars. Just kind of throw them away. Cav Archers are going to get some really good shots off on this hill. And the Trebs kind of escape. Not the best engagement from Zayu. Going to throw away a lot of the Hussars. He's just going to commit. The Onagers aren't even there. The Onagers are going away. He's committing all of his Hussars here, trying to clean up some of these Cav Archers. He is going to get engagement. If his Onagers were here, he could have gotten all of them dead. Does get, he got 8 Cav Archers from that. All of his Hussars thrown away. Onagers went down to the south to do nothing. That's so unfortunate. If those Onagers had come up there, I mean, maybe Favorite would have microed away, but your way to win this game was to deal with this ball, and you sent the Onagers down south. I think that was a huge mistake. Only 8? Yeah. They were all clustered in one hit. Like, again, one Onager shot, and they're all dead, right? Like, they were so clustered. So, and now the Onager is trying to reposition again. Favorite slowly putting the clamps on. Halberdiers trying to reposition. Probably going for another raid. Another engagement here. There's no Onagers to deal with this. Like, getting some good trades. Like, I mean, I suppose if you keep killing them, trading food units for the gold units, you might eventually win. But Favorite still has 1,700 in the bank, is restocking his heavy Cav Archers, keeping his number at 50. Or around there. It's just going to be so tough. Halberdier is going to find some gold unit kills, maybe get some of these, kill some villagers. I think Zayu had an opportunity. Zayu had an opportunity to balance, like, maybe have a chance. But I think with the Onagers accidentally being microed down here or on purpose, you just threw that chance away. I don't think he's going to get another chance like that. And now we see Favorite establishing some maps, or a castle in the middle. And probably will build this one and probably another one. And Hussar's going to try to come in and maybe get some snipe, but no. Favorite's going to try to clamp down the map, really establish map control. Hussar's going to come in here and maybe cause a little bit of problems, but the Cav Archers are right there. A couple villages go down, but, I mean, also... Oh, it's still going. I mean, also, Zayu hasn't been able to raid anytime recently. There's just massive exposed wood line, but he has to keep all of his Hussars at home, because that's all he has. So, SO's are going to try to get engagement here. I mean, it doesn't matter about the Halberdiers. That's what we've established, is that Halberdiers don't matter. It's all about this death ball of Cav Archers. And some random raids here. Nothing really finding here, but slowly ticking away at this base. And now we see some more established of some production buildings. Just really clamp down on the map control. Just take out the buildings that you can. Make Zayu have to rebuild them, lose his space. And yeah, it's going to be a question of, once again, I mean, this is a kind of a choke point. There are... Where are the other Cav Archers? Is some up north? No, they're... Oh, we're pushing up top. That's nice. But it is really just about who can destroy... If Zayu can find a kill on those Cav Archers. So... We actually do see some raids, so some nice raids. There's no Halberdiers this time to defend against this. So finding some kills here and there. Causing some problems, maybe some headaches. Coming to save the castle, and the Rams just barely do not get it. Villagers coming over, very smart from Favorite to come repair this castle. Keep that map, that side of the map kind of contained. Treb War is going on, and Japanese are going to win this Treb War with the reposition of the Trebs. And the Cav Archers continue to kind of stay uncontested. This base is probably not the greatest thing because Zayu's just throwing units away to get picked off. And I feel like Favorite should know that there's a base down there. Probably doesn't care because he's probably just getting free kills here. But Favorite still just so many resources in the bank. 10k wood on the bank. That's insane. And yeah, Halberdier is starting to push forward into the onager shots. Lands a few. Maybe they can try to get some friendly fire here. Decent enough on... Does lose one onager, it sounded like. But... Treb's going too far forward. Don't lose the Treb. But yeah, I mean, at this point, it's just kind of a slow bleed. Again, Zayu does have the 5 relics, so it's not completely burned away. Resources on the map. 200k wood on the map, so plenty. 344 gold still somewhere. Oh, there's still a 300 tile here. But trying to get some snipes here. Not going to find... Oh, God. Oh, God. That was a lot of SOs lost. That was several SOs from the Trebs. They're in a bad spot. Oh. Oh, that was bad. The small tree mod is not on. I figure it's not quite as important in DM. Try and take out this castle. That castle goes down. That's going to be a lot of economy exposed. And the Rams trying to get a push into here. And the Onagers, he lost a few of those. They're going to try to get engaged. Oh, a little too far forward. Those Halberdiers are going to take one out, take two out, and take the third out from friendly fire. It's a lot of expensive siege Onagers lost. The Treb War is continuing on. We see some light cav raids on the north side, maybe some Halberdiers. Just giving Zayu no breathing room. And those onager shots were huge. Treb War, okay, Villager doing a little bit of repairs, but is going to go down. And Favorite just now establishing pretty much a forward operating base entirely on this side of the river. I think he's going to start pressing. And I mean, he hasn't really had to reinvest. Like, that's the craziest thing. Is Favorite's been doing such a good job of holding on to his gold units. He just hasn't had to make it. He's been at 1,800 gold. He's been at 1,700 gold. Just really not having to spend anything because he's just so good about keeping the Trebs and the Cav Archers safe. And Zayu just can't find any hits. And every time he makes a new siege onager, Favorite is just so good at sniping them or finding them unexposed. Hussar's going to try to go for some heavy raids maybe on the north side. Army is a little bit split up here, but I mean, Favorite has a micro to probably keep his army alive. Ram's going to get taken out by these Halberdiers. Looks like a pretty bad fight from Zayu. And we even see the Hussars coming, some light cav coming to try to snipe some siege onagers. Gets one or two. In the middle, the Cav Archers do just clean up them up. The Halberdiers lose one stable, but the Halberdiers clean up the Rams. Hussar's going to go for some raid, try to draw the army out. But, yeah, down to 3 Siege Onagers. And, like, sure, you have the 5 relics. But that is not a lot of gold when you need a lot of gold units. So, unfortunately, Zayu slowly being blood dry. Some good raids in the back. Not what he needs, though. Not enough. Favorite hasn't had to worry about population for quite a while. Landing some shots with the Trebs. And is going to take out one. Takes out a second. Oh, keeps that second Onager alive. But that castle goes down. And that now the Onagers have no protection. There's only that one castle in the back. Rooting for Zayu, but it's oddly satisfying seeing res control beat relic control and Accurate after his cast of your 1 hour Accurate game. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely been... Oh, the Halberdiers being on stand ground, just chipping away at these units, making sure they stay on low health. But now we see the light cav raids on the top side. Again, there's only that castle to defend. Zayu's going to be stretched thin, and we're going to see this mass of the actual force kind of push here. Onagers still need to be worried about. You could still land a really important... Oh, loses 1, but I mean, kills up a lot of the Halberdiers. And now the Trebs is going to slow push. This is like the slowest Japanese push I've ever seen. I mean, Favorite has identified. He just doesn't need to worry about being safe. Or being risky. He doesn't need to force anything. He has his gold composition. He does not need to make any engagements. He can dictate the pace. And as long as he doesn't lose his gold units to a random SO shot, he is going to win this game. And it is purely on Zayu to make something happen so that the gold relics come into play. Again, I'd love to see when the last time Favorite had to make a gold unit was. Or when he queued up gold. He's been at 1600 gold for quite some time. It's just been Light Cav. Light Cav and Halberdiers. And he's going to find maybe another Onager. Yeah, Onager numbers starting to slowly dwindle. The Light Cav just being thrown willy-nilly. Another one down, and oh, that's so many, like, down to 1 Onager. And, I mean, Zayu's getting, what, like 1 Onager every 2 minutes? And now he's taking out these front production buildings. The base of Zayu slowly but surely shrinking on the south side. I mean, Zayu, you don't resign until you lose the relics, right? Like, you still have the relics, you still have the gold units. It's just so hard. And you could still try to maybe like think about coming back with 1 or 2 really good SO shots. But those Japanese treads just allowing him to push from pretty much whatever angle he wants. And 2 Onagers on the field, 3 more on the way. And it's just so tough to engage into this ball of gold units that Favorite has just been keeping alive for so long. 181 kills on those Cav Archers. That's insane. Maybe a little bit of raids trying to go for it again. I mean, there's still so much wood on the Accurate, right? It's slowly starting to get depleted. But I think, like, worst case, Favorite can take this wood line. And he's continuing to take it out. Takes out the market. Or he's going to take out the market. Another Siege Onager goes down. All 3 Siege Onagers have gone down. Down to 1 Siege Onager. I mean, I think he's been at 48 Cav Archers for 30 minutes at this point. This has just been a slow strangulation. I mean, yeah, Zayu doesn't want to lose the match, understandably, but it is... And again, you have the 5 relics. Theoretically, there's a way back in the game. And here's a shot. There's an Onager shot. It was on the Treb, though. Not what he needed. He needed to take out some more of these Cav Archers, and Zayu finally taps out. Didn't want to cast Nate versus Aizen because it might be long. That's true. That being said, I do enjoy the top tier games, and this was, at least this game, it felt like it's been pretty much over for the past 30 minutes, right? Like, Zayu's just been Favorite with PopCap that entire time, right? Zayu was struggling to do something. Yeah, like you can see the military economy. I mean, Zayu had 10k more relic gold, and 30k gold total. That's insane. But the problem was, it was just he had the 60 Cav Archers that he just never lost. Zayu had win cons? Absolutely. I mean, again, Favorite identified his win condition, which was just, if I keep my Cav Archers alive, I cannot lose this game. So I want to see when. Okay, 1935 at like 1 hour. And that's where he found out about the gold. So I think that's when Favorite got his last amount of gold, right? No, he's up to 2,400. He found some gold somewhere. Maybe made some market sales or something. But he is repairing. Oh, where is the gold trickling? But okay, so this is when he last spent gold unit. He at 108 is the last time he spent gold. This isn't over yet, Brizzlin. This is that was only game 4. We have one more game. So for 25 minutes, Favorite didn't spend a single piece of gold. Yeah, one of the reasons Zayu was holding on is because it's only 2-1. That was game 4. So Favorite going up 3-1. Points matter hugely for Zayu. Yeah. So because the game was so long, I am gonna have to take another bathroom break. Holy crap, that was a long one. Oh. I've drank too much water. This is insane. All right, give me 1 second to swap the last map. All right. So we just had the longest humans lost against the Japanese. Oh. Do not overwork your kidneys, even at my young age. I don't know if I'm young, but appreciate the compliment. So the final map is going to be Aftermath. And I remember what the hills do now because I saw it. It's markets, which gives a resource trickle, which is something I remember. I will say my mind's starting to wander a little bit. This is the third, like I casted them this morning with Gamer. I did my set before this with Otter set. I was like trying to remember how to load the map and stuff. So I'm starting to fade. So we got one more game in me. Your children are older than you. That's fair. I mean, I'm friends with Chef, so I am always gonna be young in the age scene. That's fair. So Aftermath. Who are we thinking? Bulgarians, probably Vietnamese versus Georgians. That's my guess. Vietnamese, Georgians. I'm gonna step away for a second, and I'll be right back. Chef is young too. Oh. All right. Final bathroom break. Final game of the day. So, I just want to say, I fucking love this shit. I enjoy casting lower division games as well. Like, don't get me wrong, I love rooting for the lower div folks. It's always fun to do those, but deep down, I'm just a sicko who loves really long, intense, really good, intense, high level gameplay. Same with Smash, same with this, same with StarCraft, same with pretty much esport. Any esport I watch, I love watching that top level stuff where it's just unreal gameplay. So, the final game 5. Favorite has taken over the set count, so he has won the match. But Zayu could get a very important victory according to Otter. So, the final map is going to be Aftermath, and we just take a little bit more water. And let's get this last game going. All right, what do people think? What do people think? Is it going to be a 4-1 or a 3-2? You think Zayu can pull another one out? I'd love to see. I love 3-2s. I will say that much. All right. Taking a breather. Let's get going. All right. Game number 5. Favorite trying to secure that 4-1 victory is in the blue, playing the Georgians. Zayu in the red, trying to get his second game out of the series, is going to be the Bulgarians. We got the markets in the north and the south. We see immediately Favorite going to go grab that resource trickle, whereas Zayu is sending his Hussar forward to try to go and snipe a village too. We have the barracks up to try to counter it. We see Castle. One villager gets low, but is going to be able to run away. Villager kind of caught out, gets away as well, so no real damage done. And instead, the market going to be claimed on the north side by Favorite. Start getting that resource trickle, which is going to be very helpful here. And, yeah, market going to be claimed in the south as well for Favorite. So getting a little bit of an early eco lead just for free. Actually, even we see the Bulgarian two-handed swordsman. Are those the ones that cost food? Are they the ones with that? Or is that the... No, that's the Malay longswords. But he's going to send some two-handed swordsmen up here to kind of contest that market, get that resource trickle that he wants. And it's a pretty slow start from both players. Pretty defensive. See the Hussar continue to kind of just wander around and explore. And we're actually going to see Zayu try to take control of both markets. But now some more infantry coming forward from the Georgians, from Favorite, to try to regain control of that and just get that early trickle. And both sides kind of contentious, mass up their armies for now and figure out what the plan is going to be. We see some Manaspa coming forward as a castle has gone up. Another castle is going to come up as well. See some monasteries in the back to try to immediately get that relic control. And yeah, two-handed swordsman is going to be the kind of main unit for now for Zayu, and then Zayu's going to add some conics. So nothing too much, just a little bit of skirmishes here and there, a little skirmishing over the markets to get that early resource trickle. We will see kind of, not a lot of action going on. There's some skirmishes here and there, but I don't know the civs well enough to know what the kind of game plan is going to be. It looks like it's going to be infantry and cav archers for Favorite to contest the two-handed swordsman, and conics for Zayu, with some siege behind it. So Bulgarians, I'm pretty sure, had some decent siege. So some good engagements down here. I mean, losing some conics HP to the siege onagers. Not the best. Georgian cav archers are shit, but regenerate. Oh. That's not bad. Are they just regular cav archers? No, they are HCAs at least. Conics are going to keep causing problems, though. They're going to do some pretty good engagements here. I mean, champions are going to do a pretty solid job with the cav archer support. So yeah, really kind of like slower start to this game. Castle gets denied. I think that castle also wasn't deleted. Maybe it was, but no Thumbring, no Parthian. Otherwise, I mean, at the end of the day, they are just cav archers, right? You can't go wrong with cav archers, even if they are at subpar. We saw the value of cav archers in that previous game. So we're gonna see some siege build up, and I mean, that's a lot of siege Andres right there. Could see an absolute nuke, and more down here, and they're gonna get sniped by these Manaspa. So siege getting taken out, but really nothing. No major fights, no major jockeying for position. I mean, now we see the castle going up on this top market to really establish control up there, which is going to be kind of the first area to fight over. That's not the middle. No castles in the middle. And just some siege launcher trades. Manaspa going to come in forward, and there is nothing here to defend these. I mean, there's some champions, but good attack grounds from Zayu. But unfortunately, these Onagers were left a little bit exposed, so a few of them are going to go down for kind of free, but does cost quite a few Manaspa, and loses a few of his own. So Favorite not taking the best engagement there, but Zayu far behind in military. Just the trickles are there, like the trash is there. Zayu kind of struggling to really keep up the military population. Throws a lot of his units away. And just isn't, probably a little bit burnt out after that long game. So might just be kind of feeling a little bit burnt out. I know I am. This feels like a much lower energy kind of start to a game. Andra shot's gonna land, kill some of his own units. Cav Archer counter Conics, so it makes sense. That's true. It's a great mobility map. It is very wide open, I'm shocked. But yeah, 2 markets in control. A castle protecting this one that Zayu's starting to move towards. Trebs are going to start challenging it, so there is a little bit of a contest here. But this is a massive army from Favorite. Favorite already pop capped. Zayu 70 pop away from capping out. And this is going to be tough for Zayu to push into. Oh, and Andra's getting some, or the Treb's getting some nice shot, but some good Andra shots onto these Halberdiers who are not really paying attention. Takes out a lot of the Halberdiers. That's going to neuter a lot of Favorite's defenses there. Is not going to allow him to kind of push back into these Trebs and has to kind of rebuild that army a little bit, send villagers forward to kind of repair. But going to have some Anjur wars here. The Hill 4 Favorite going to really do him some help here. But now the Treb's going to try to fire some shots, and the Castle's barely hanging on. Castle does go down, but the Anjur's landing some really juicy shots. But that is going to be an expensive cost for Favorite. Loses all of his Trebs, most of his Anjurs as well. And Castle tries to go back up, which with 3 Trebs already firing on it, I don't know if that's the smartest play, but he's kind of committing to it, and the Cav Archers are still there to try to pressure some of these units. And the Halberdiers trading in the front. Anjur's going to trade some shots. I mean, there's no more Anjurs for Zayu, so the Halberdiers are a little bit more free to kind of or to run into the army, not having to worry about any Anjur shots. And the Anjur is going to try to get taken out by these Conics, and is going to survive just barely. And these Trebs are going to not be able to take out the second castle. They're going to get pushed back by the infantry. In the meantime, in the south, maybe some defensive raids. Conics are going to try to go and reclaim this and try to get some resource control. But Favorite just really milking those resources and banking them up. Zayu down to 500 gold, 600 gold, has 42 on gold, still has plenty of gold. But, I mean, Favorite isn't needing to spend any, has the resources being brought in by the trade workshops, and has map control pretty solidly. I'm surprised Zayu isn't trying to gain control in the south. Has a bunch of siege over here kind of ready to push into it, but it's just, I mean, that's kind of on both sides. But, yeah, he's not really contested the south side, so this has been a free market for Favorite this entire map. All the action happens on the top side, and if you're the one kind of dictating the fight with 2 markets, it's a pretty good position to be in. I mean, Favorite, once again, realizing his position means that he doesn't really need to force anything, because he can just sit behind. I mean, he's even using the monks to gain health back, which is huge. Fortified Church is always a good idea. 4 relics. I think there's, what, 7 relics on this map? Or 5 relics. But Prepo's going to be taken down. Anjur's going to trade here. Trying to get on. Anjur does take out the 2 Trebs, so huge Anjur shot is very nice there. Takes out the Treb, on more Anjurs there as well. So pretty decent engagement here from Zayu, keeping that castle or the Krepos alive and taking out the 2 Trebs. But I mean, he's still kind of a little bit behind the ball, I feel like. His monastery has no relics. There's 1 up here. Yes, there's 5 relics. So Favorite having 4 relics means that is nobody is burnt out here. They both played DM since 20 years. Yeah. I think it's just like the map and the thing, and it just felt like such a slow start compared to the previous one. With like kind of like not really committing to any fights anywhere. That it just kind of felt like that. But we're seeing a little bit of engagement down south, but yeah. Zayu not really committing hard to try to take this out. Is starting to establish some crep posts. Will actually try to make a push there, but I mean, Favorite has gotten so much free resources from that. And this push in the middle is just, this top side is just not really benefiting him at all. So Favorite's just able to kind of sit back, bank all these resources. Look at the massive amount of resources. Doing essentially the same he did last game, where he just keeps his cav archers alive and his gold units, and doesn't have to worry about rebuilding them very often. Excuse me. And even down here, I feel like Favorite isn't even committing that many forces. I feel like these guys have just been here the whole time. 26 kills on these units. Like, Favorite hasn't really needed to do anything to keep both markets alive. Like, he's kept this market alive. He's done a great job here taking these really good fights and continuing to take really good fights. But the South market has just been free resources. I feel like that's a huge mistake from Zayu, is not pressuring the South. And now, Favorite's going to build a castle there, which is probably for the better. It might be a little bit late, because I mean, we see a little bit of an army mass here. And now he's going to push in and time it just perfectly. But it almost like forces a response from Zayu, where Zayu was just not really engaging there. So, should get this cleaned up. We'll probably get this castle doubted. And the engagement in the middle is happening. Andras do get shot onto by the Hussars, and all those Andras are going to go down except for 2. And yeah, that's a lot of Hussars dead, but I mean, Favorite can kind of just repop those Hussars. Needs to get more farms going, but has 10k gold. It's insane. That's so much gold banked up this late in the game. 20 minutes in, you have 10k gold in DM. It's insane. So castle gets denied. A little bit of raids. We see the trade cart, a mule cart, pretending to be a trade cart in the back area. Just getting a little bit of scouting information. May as well. And yeah, I mean, this is still looking very favorited. He has a resource advantage, like 10k gold, insane. And both players kind of pop capped at the moment. And the castle's gone up. Zayu took control of this. I mean, Favorite, please. The market's right there. Favorite. Please. My friend. I know there's a raid going on. There you go. I just realized we forgot about a raid in the previous game. I might load it up real quick and go look at it, but good raid in the back from Favorite. No response from Zayu. Now he responds. But engagement in the top side still taking the focus of the attention. And, I mean, there's still just so much here for Favorite. Down to 3 trebs. The Connick's finding maybe some shots here, but the Andra is doing so much damage here. Forcing them away. Only 3 kills, but Zayu just not able to push into this hill. And now Favorite has actually established control of the south side. Trebs are going to be taking this down. So this establishment might not last very long. That's a lot of cav archers down here. And I mean, they might not be the greatest cav archers in the world. They're going to do the damage. And now the Trebs go down here. And that's all the siege going down. And I mean, yeah, and Favorite just has so much military here to protect. Zayu just not taking the fights he needs to. This heavy siege from Favorite just doing all the damage he needs to. Has full map control. Has both workshops. And it's just going to be a consistent advantage for Favorite. Not having to spend gold units is just such a good skill. So I was going to try to engage on some of these Trebs. A little bit of a weird choke point. Some house walls really doing some good favors there. But I mean, they're going to go down. And 1 Krepos falls. So villagers to repair that castle might be a good idea. But Trebs go down and that castle is no longer going to be pressured. Now the 1 Treb there, going to start taking out these Krepos. And we even have another castle down here to prevent any units from sneaking by. Like, this is such an insane map control. It's looking very similar to the previous game where Favorite just kind of sit back and, you know, slowly push in, force Zayu to take the fights he, like, make something happen. The only difference is this time Favorite has 4 of the relics. And yeah, Zayu's claimed that 5th one. But, I mean, like, Favorite's going to win in the long run with gold. It's not the previous game where Zayu had a chance of holding out for hero and surviving off of the relic gold. This is, if you hold out the late game, Favorite's favorited. Also, I was going to find a fuse, maybe a sniper. So, does get that 1 Trebs. That is a nice little snipe there. But, I mean, he's being pushed on this side, being pushed on the top side, trying to take out this castle. Finally taking military up there to try to stop those villagers from repairing. This is going to leave his Trebs a little bit exposed. The Hussar are going to come in here and try to take out these Trebs. But the Halberdiers there doing a fantastic job of defending. And from now, I mean, Andre's going to land some beautiful shots. Oh, my gosh. Oh, that was a lot of units dead right there. That was a huge loss. Zayu down to 68 military. and just, like, maybe not has military elsewhere, but needs a military there to be able to contest this. Does take out the Treb, so at least the push is slowed down. But that's not going to be able to push back. Castle gets repaired to full, and this is just still looking so in favorite's position. The map fully just all blue. Zayu struggling to find an answer to break out of this prison that has been created by favorite. And in the meantime, the push is starting to be done on the south side. We've got a massive army here. Got to push into this. The Hussars a little slow waiting for the Halberdiers. But so many Cav Archers here is going to be tough to engage on. But they're going to go into it. They're going to be able to... Takes out his own house to give him a good angle to take out these Trebs. So is going to get a good engagement here. At least take out the Trebs. Loses a bunch of units for it. But I mean, favorite has the resources to restock and could just fall back a little bit. In the meantime, this north side, that's a lot of army from favorite. He's going to run in here and take out the Trebs, take out the Siege Onagers. Good attack ground. Takes out a bunch of the Manaspa. But, like, it's just not enough. Another good attack ground. But, again, favorite has 8k gold in the bank. Zayu's down to just his relic gold with only one of them. And now his favorite even knows where it is. He's going to start pushing this castle. Only one Treb. No, a couple Trebs more. So, he's going to start pressuring that in the south. Make another Treb. This Treb has been doing so much damage to these buildings. Favorite forcing 2 fights is just... Yeah, this is just not... Like, Zayu just has never had a chance in this game. Like, it's just always been favorite just having map control. And favorite made the right call to secure the relics early. And it's a similar situation in the last game where favorite just kind of keeps his units alive, slowly whittles away at the buildings. And, I mean, yeah, Zayu just hasn't really had a chance to break out. And favorite really... I mean, Zayu had the chance to establish control in the south, and he never did. And then favorite managed to establish his base here. And so I think that was the biggest mistake that Zayu made, was just not taking one of the resource markets and letting favorite just completely clamp him on the map. So, favorite's going to continue the slow push, and again, Zayu needs the points, according to Otter, so I don't think he's going to resign anytime until it is absolutely there, and I spoke too soon. So Zayu taps out, and favorite wins that one 4-1. I think the other games were much better from Zayu. I think this one was just not really... Favorite came 9th last season in Div 1. Oh, wow. Well, you don't remind me. I had no idea. So, yeah. He'll go to 2nd this season. That's insane. He's been putting in work. That's good to hear. Yeah, this game just felt very, very, like, from the get-go, favorite just had the advantage. Like, you can see the military advantage from the start. Economy. Like, I think, like, these stats don't really tell. I mean, yeah, the resources does. Double the gold, that's insane. Yeah, just all these resources collected. But the real picture of what actually got favorite the map is just, we look here. That's maybe, it's just like, he's established control. There's just never really a chance that Zayu had to establish a front position, right? Like, you have both markets contained. He doesn't build a castle. Like, if you build a castle here, maybe there's a better chance or something. Like, he just never really establishes his map control. He tries to push in with no castle backup. And, yeah. He doesn't have it, but he is kind of set to make it to semis and play Andy. Okay. Yeah, this is... Favorite looks really good. Favorite looks really, really strong. Really well played from both players. But, yeah. Favorite just always looked like kind of like in the lead. Even with that one game that Zayu took, it was not an easy game for Zayu to win, if I remember correctly. So, not quite as exciting as Game 4. But this was a very well done game from... I do want to actually check something real quick.